great to be back with you.
Let's go, man.
I did not think we were going to be back on the airwaves together. This is wonderful. The mic's a little dusty. Got to get the cobwebs off, but it's good to be back.
Oh, they can't deny us.
Yeah, we're back.
They can try. They can't. They cannot. They can lock us up and put us wherever they wanted to. Siberia, stick us in the gulag. We will find our way back to a live mic. And here we are, blowing in front of like 12 people. Where are the coconuts? Come on down. The doors are open. I'm waiting for you. The Godfather is here for all of you idiots.
You need any more of my coffee?
Nah, it's early. Let's
Good.
go.
Yeah.
All right, my man. So let's do this thing. What do you think? Where are you at? I'll just tell you off the top, I felt as though that was just an entertaining hell of a basketball game.
Hell of a basketball game, but a game that I thought the Warriors probably should have won and let get away. When you're talking about Red Velvet playing as bad as he did, that being Kevin Huerter, not making any of his threes and really
Malibu's
struggling.
most wanted.
Yeah, and Sabonis down low, missing some layups that he's probably going to get in game 2, although credit Kevon Looney. He was excellent, and Peyton was getting down in the paint and affecting some of those shots too. I thought Wiggins was great defensively, but when you look back on game 1, the chances Golden State had, especially late, with that three-pointer and Wiggins. Can you script it any better? I mean, the scriptwriters outdid themselves. Andrew Wiggins, welcome back. And he has the game-winning three-point opportunity, 8 seconds to go, and just said it felt great coming out of the hands.
You get the sense, and I listened to Steve Kerr in the post-game show, as well as Draymond and company, just reading between the lines when it came to Steve Kerr, I get a sense that they feel as though we're okay. We're okay. I think we took their best shot. I don't know that Malik Monk is going to give us 34 off the bench.
Trey Lyles isn't going to give you 17 every game. But in the flip side, you're going to get a better performance from Kevin Huerter, and you're probably going to get a better performance if you're the Kings from Sabonis.
And Keegan Murray, who's been good for them all year long, had 2 points. I think that's one of those when you think about Keegan Murray, as we talked about the level of experience by that of the Golden State Warriors and the inexperience attributed to that of the Sacramento Kings. That's one of those kids who's like, oh, wow, I think I just wet myself. You know, I can put up some big numbers in the regular season in February, but this is the Warriors. Is that Steph? Is this the playoffs? Yeah, I don't know I can handle this. He got pulled pretty quick. But I think that's exactly what it is that we're talking about when sometimes this stage can be too big for some of those youngsters, namely Keegan Murray.
So I pose this question for you. Game 2, is it a must-win?
No.
You better win it, right?
You got
Not a must-win, but you better win it.
The must-win is when you're down 0-3, right? There's no must-wins until then. But you don't want to come back 0-2, especially after everything you've experienced this year with the road woes, and you basically sucked on the road. And if you lose 2 at Sacramento, well, then what's changed? You're essentially the same team. I, again, get the sense that the Warriors feel okay. I think that there was some nervousness about, where's Andrew Wiggins? Andrew Wiggins looked as though he hasn't missed a step. The guy's been gone since before the All-Star break.
Well, I'm just laughing that everyone acted like he was going to come back so rusty. He's not come back from ACL surgery.
Yeah.
Wasn't hurt.
Well,
took some time away from the game, but he was still in the gym. He wasn't sitting on the couch watching Saved by the Bell reruns.
You have to keep in mind, though, that sometimes what often happens, game 2's the key. Because game 1s are, when you come back from an injury, it's usually adrenaline that carries you through. That second game is where you really have to see whether there's a rust factor. To me, that's the barometer. He could be a guy like, oh, wow, he really does not have his legs, and that shot looks ugly. He could be a non-factor in game 2 and just be running on complete adrenaline and emotion in that first game back, which was, of course, last night. I think as we get into this thing, 888-957-9570, the Golden State Warriors down 1 game to the Sacramento Kings in the best of 7. Here's some of the keys, just to kick this thing off. The dribble penetration by De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk. Come on, fellas. We know that point of the ball attack has been a problem all year long for the Warriors, but you got to do better than that. That was a little silly last night. Fox was getting to wherever it is that he wanted to, and Monk, he's a good player, but he ain't that good. And I think somebody's got to knock him on his backside. That can't happen every night. And here's the thing. You got Wiggins and GP2 defensively, and this is what we're talking about. The Warriors defensively, Jordan Poole, As much as I like Dante DiVincenzo, he cannot watch De'Aaron Fox. We saw that unfold yesterday. And the same with Malik Monk. So Wiggins has got to be out there. And I think GP2, simply because of this series, he's got to play a lot more than he did last night. Because they just don't have the bodies to match up with these guys when you're talking about people that just want to take you right to the rim. Off the bounce, as they like to say.
I go back to the first half, and I was watching some of those combinations pretty closely when it was Peyton in there along with Wiggins. I think those two played great together. When Peyton and Wiggins were in there at the same time, I think Looney was in that lineup too, which makes me wonder, where's the offense? But the defense looked pretty decent in the first quarter. And I thought, all right, Golden State's doing their thing. If they're going to beat Sacramento, they probably got to hold them to under their scoring average of 121 a game. I thought it was pretty good, and then next thing you know, you look up at the scoreboard at the end of the game, and what was it, 130?
I want to say 134 here. The final score was 126 to 123 as the Sacramento Kings.
If you're going to beat the Sacramento Kings in this series, do you have to hold them under their scoring average to 120? And is that how you're going to win these games, with better defense? Or is it just going to be, hey, you outshoot and outscore Sacramento?
Well, if you want to get into a track meet with the Golden State Warriors, the Warriors will welcome that 7 days out of the week. But you're going to have to shut something down. You can't. De'Aaron Fox cannot go off like that.
Well, I think the big thing with De'Aaron Fox is he's not a great shooter. He's a great
three-point shooter.
He's a great shooter.
He's not a great three-point shooter.
He's not a good three-point shooter. He's 32% on the season. He's 32% from his career. He was probably 32% at Kentucky, and wherever the hell he went to high school, he was probably 32% there as well. Never a great three-point shooter. Now, Monk, on the other hand, yes. But De'Aaron Fox, give him some space. Don't let him beat you from inside the perimeter.
He's a tough handle, man.
He's just so quick.
Yeah.
I think he may be the fastest player in the league.
I think with the ball in his hand, that guy goes end line to end line, and it's a blur.
Swiper.
Here's the thing, though. This is an opportunity for him if they do indeed advance. And Sacramento, by the way, I was dogging these guys. I was dogging
that fan base.
That one Cal town. Way to represent last night. That was, look at, man, that was good for the league. That's what you call a good ambassador for basketball.
Did you ever get up to a game at Arco?
Why would I go to Sacramento?
Did you ever get to a game at Arco?
You out of your mind? Unless I had to change a tire and I'm on my way to Tahoe. Why am I going to Sacramento? You out of your mind? I go to Sacramento. Farmers, haystack, getting that truck with your gun rack. I don't live out there. No, congratulations, Sacramento. That was something else, man. That was good to see. That was good for the league. That was Sacramento with Peja and them boys and Bibby, and that reminded me of C-Web and all those guys. Hito Turkoglu and Kevin Johnson, the mayor, kept them out there in Sacramento. Yeah, we remember you guys. It was good to see you guys back. And it was loud. And all this talk about, Warriors, they're going to be out there. That thing could be divided. There's going to be a good percentage of Warrior fans.
No.
That was all cowbells and haystacks. Cowbells and overalls.
That doesn't happen in any town, in any postseason game, though. When you think there's going to be that, that split, it'll be 60-40, 70-30. That doesn't happen. Come postseason, it doesn't.
Well, in the NFL with the 49ers, it does. Remember the game against the Rams?
Oh, that's different.
Yeah, NFL, I would agree, because you're talking about 65,000 people.
You're right. I mean, the Cowboys game last year, there were a boatload of 49er fans there. So, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Arco was awesome as we go back in the day, but that was good. I just have to say that was good to see, good for basketball, to see Sacramento once again relevant, to see everybody going nuts. And quite frankly, that was just an entertaining basketball game. Now, we'll pull back the layers and get into this thing, but just from standing back, sitting on a couch and throwing a few down, I'm like, that was entertaining. That was a good... I don't know that the Warriors necessarily did anything over the top as far as, the offensive rebounding disparity was something that they need to address. You got to stop, the ball penetration, getting to the rim by that. A Monk as well as De'Aaron Fox is something they have to work on. But I felt they played a good basketball game. Just tip your hat to Sacramento. And I also think that the Warriors afterwards were saying, yeah, you know what? We got this. We're all right. We're all right. I just get that sense from Steve Kerr. We're going to handle these boys.
Yeah, I mean, what other suggestion are they supposed to give you in the post-game press conference? I mean, have you ever seen the Warriors not extremely confident in their capabilities?
Sometimes Steve Kerr, he's just like, yeah, we need to fix some things, and there's just this sense of, uh-oh. Like, you get that sense of, what are you going to do, man? You just got your butt kicked.
I'll tell you what, that post-game press conference is going to sound a lot different, though, if they lose game 2. I mean, it's massive coming up. It's, as you said, there's no such thing as a must-win until you're down 3-0, 3-2, or it's 3-3. But with that being said, you better win that game. You don't want to come back to Chase and have must-wins, or you got to win games at Chase. You want to even that thing up at 1 apiece. But the Warriors let one slip away. I thought they took some bad shots late. You say, they couldn't have really fixed much. I know that their MO is taking some tough shots and making some tough shots, but with all due respect, because he's had a phenomenal season, but Klay Thompson took some terrible shots down the stretch.
Yeah, that's Klay Thompson.
Terrible.
I think that they were looking for, at one point, the dagger when they were up 10. But you're right, and I do want to get into that.
I'm talking under 3 minutes to go in the game when it was about a 4-point Kings lead, and they kept having chance after chance to chip into it. I know Wiggins took a wide open 3 and clanked the hell out of that thing, and then Klay just took a few shots that it was like, what? Slow it down.
Well, here's the thing.
Drive the ball.
This is what's plagued this team all year long, and it gets back to before Kevin Durant and then when Kevin Durant left.
Hero ball?
No. It's a team that lives and dies by the 3.
That's hero ball.
Is it?
Yeah, you're trying to make that big shot to make everyone go crazy instead of just driving it in and kicking it out and taking the easy shot.
Well, whatever it is, man, they got to knock that crap off because, listen, Sacramento was so top-heavy, right? They are just pressing you once you cross the timeline. They're out. They're extended. There is an opportunity to get to the rim. And when you get to that rim, there's no rim protector, man. There's no Embiid. There's no Steven Adams. There's no gorilla. There's no grizzly waiting for you out there, man. You can get to the rim on these guys, but they settle because that's who they are. They think that's their identity. And let me just tell you, that is come and gone, living and dying by the 3. Why I mentioned Kevin Durant is at times, you got to go mid-range and you got to get to the rim, man. You cannot be one-dimensional.
How much of that, though, is tired legs? I know that we're talking about a team that's...
Tired legs, they had the whole week off.
It's amazing in terms of conditioning, but you saw clips of Steph Curry in that game last night, running around like it was a freaking marathon all over the place trying to get open. Man. Yeah, but you don't think with under 3-4 minutes to go in the game, maybe there were some tired legs, and that's what the 3-point shot is. It's a bailout.
Well, listen, I think if you can't get to the rim and it's the fourth quarter of a close game because you got tired legs, then what everybody is saying about you guys, that you're too old and that it's time for somebody else, young legs like that of the Sacramento Kings, holds a lot more water. I think it's just simply because that's who they think they are, and when they get pushed, proverbial backs against the wall, let's shoot the quick 3 because that's our identity, man. That's how we came into this world, and that's how we're going to go out, and you got to find another way.
I do have to say that.
By the way, there were 68, but I don't like to spit numbers or stats, nerd reference, but I'll throw on my horn rims.
You want a rundown?
Yeah, and give me a rundown on a pocket protector.
I got a box. You want a box?
I don't want a box in one.
Get Dan a box. Get him a box score.
But here's the thing. They were 68% from 2. 68% from 2. Give me some 2.
That's efficient.
I love the 3 as much as the next person, but man, it's either a long rebound or one and done. And just Steph can get to the rim. And the thing is, we saw Klay throughout the season, especially in the latter part of the season, get to the rim in his mid-range. He went from this guy that was one-dimensional to suddenly getting back to Klay 2019, where he was 2019, where he was somebody that had, the ability to hit that mid-range, also get to the rim on you. But when you just want to get back to who you are and settle for the 3s, that is such a dangerous place to live. And the Warriors have a tendency just to go back to that comfort zone.
Can I give you some observations?
No. What did you write? You wrote stuff down.
I didn't write anything down.
I'm just up all night.
I didn't write anything down. It's just a box. It's just a standard box that I printed, and I'm looking at
hammering on that typewriter.
Observations. Yeah, typewriter. I'd never seen one of those in my life. Jordan Poole only played 22 minutes. I thought he had some nice step backs.
We're going to talk JP.
He was looking good in the mid-range game when he played, but my biggest observation is Steve Kerr said Andrew Wiggins was going to play 20 to 25. He played 28.
Yeah.
He got more minutes than he was supposed to play in that game. So Golden State, they knew how important game one was.
Well, we'll talk about, we'll get into Wiggins' minutes. I'm with you. I think he started well, but sometimes Coach Kerr, you got to read the room. Listen, wide open for that three that could have won them the game. You can't argue that, but he was 1 of 8 from 3, and he was showing signs that his shot had abandoned him after that first quarter. Should he have been on the floor to close?
And that was a fast break. Was it? It was 3-on-2?
No, it wasn't a foul. It was Clay broke it down and then kicked out. I think Clay had penetration and then kicked to the corner.
Wasn't fast break, but they had numbers. Did they not? I'd have to go back and watch, but I'm pretty sure. I thought it was 3-on-2 because he was wide open over there in the corner.
I mean, it was a good pass by Clay because I thought Clay for sure was going to force something against 2 guys. It's just,
I thought he was just going to pull up, like you said, mid-range shot, pull up from the free throw line, pull up from the elbow. We love elbow jumpers.
I am telling you, I don't think anybody knows we're on the air right now because I stepped on yesterday, and not that this world or this show's all about me, but it is. And there was nothing but Dan Love, like constantly, and I get nothing. No phone calls. I don't think anybody's alive. I don't think anybody's awake.
Well, we haven't had programming on a Sunday for how long? Everyone thinks that, it's Ben Maller screaming into a microphone right now. It's Dan and Chuck, folks. Wake them up.
95.7 the game, 888-957-9570. I want to know your level of nervousness as the Golden State Warriors lose game 1. I really do think this team becomes too reliant on shooting that three. It is their go-to. It's why, if it's not working for you, you got no fallback, which is why they went out and got Kevin Durant. As soon as Steph and Clay were not shooting it, and it happens throughout the course of a game where it leaves you, Kevin Durant will get you buckets another way. And I don't mean to bring KD into this thing. You could be seeing him later in the playoffs for Phoenix, but the point is that whether it's Wiggins or somebody else getting to a different spot on the floor and not just being one and done with a three. If you look at the league right now, and I know the Warriors won the title last year, the Warriors set the standard. It's so homogenous. Everybody said, okay, we got to play like that. Let's shoot threes. But now people have moved on from that.
Yeah, no one's playing like that.
No, but the Warriors are. The Warriors who set the tone, set the bar, are still staying stuck in 2016. Everybody else is actually, who's returned? Is the center. Hello, big fella. Now you got Sabonis. Now you got Embiid. You got bigs in the inside-out game. The Warriors are still playing this 5-out. Thank you very much. We got somebody on the phone lines. Chuck wants to talk, but the hell with him. Let's hear from Coach Jim. Coach Jim out in San Francisco. What's going on, man? Your thoughts on the game last night?
Hey, you guys I'm going to compliment both of you. You're dead on about how that game was. But remember, that Sacramento win made so many people happy, and isn't that what it's all about?
No. It's about making people in the city happy. And then in Oakland.
Well, they'll be happy. We got this. Last night was a fun game, but let Sacramento have that. It keeps all them the hope alive.
Hey, don't go anywhere, Jim.
League needs that.
Cam, can you give me my first hit of the day for all the cowpokes out there in Sacramento and everybody who's got it in their long johns? Don't go anywhere, Jim. Yeah! Go ahead, Sacramento. Dance! Come on, let's go.
Let them have that.
Talk to me, Coach Jim.
We need Poole to slow the hell down. And if
thank God I'm a country boy.
It's a team sport. If it's one-on-one, let him go 1,000 miles an hour. But he's got to control himself. We gave up too many balls. We should have won that game so easily, but we made dummy mistakes. And the coaching has issues too. But I think we got this. I'm not worried at all.
All right, Coach Jim, thanks so much for kicking it off today. Yeah, listen, he's right. Sacramento, we'll get into the Warriors and what it is that they did or didn't do, and there's a lot that we can talk about, but I just do think at the end of the day, Sacramento, they showed up. Their fans showed up. De'Aaron Fox proved to everybody. I talked about before the game yesterday, hey, man, but if you want your flowers and you want to say that you're the next team, you're the next generation, screw Memphis, we're the team that's going to dethrone the old fellas, no country for old men. It's about us, and the youngsters will go prove it, and he did last night.
And you got to win that game one. Game one was so important for them. Think of how demoralizing that would have been after 17 years. A playoff game returns. Not at Arco, but at the beautiful state-of-the-art Golden One Center. They have cowbells.
Yeah,
they're
they
ringing
do.
cowbells. They have a whiteout, yet they're wearing black jerseys.
What do you think about lighting the beam?
I mean, good for them.
Are you down with that? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, they got a gimmick. That's cool.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it wasn't bad. So anyway, do we want to get out Matt in Oakland? Cam is running around out there all over the place. Go ahead, Matt. You know what? I asked for you fellas, and you showed up strong. Maddie, what do you got for us?
I think, Sabonis, I think we'll see if he eats more. And I think we were lucky in that game. And if he does eat, it's going to be a tougher game. And, we just got to make our shots. And we play better defense. I think we need to limit down to 114 or something under that. And then I think, we'll probably beat them in 6, maybe 7. Hopefully not 7, but in 6. And I'm just worried about Monk. If he drops 30 again, it's a loss. And I think, Monk.
Good job. Hey, Maddie, let me ask you something. Michael Jackson, how old are you, Matt?
I'm 10.
That a boy. Hey, listen, let me tell you something. Don't worry about Monk. You worry about shooting your jump shot, getting on your bike, your baseball cards. You worry about homework. We'll worry about Monk. But you beat 10 years old. But that's good stuff. You want to be a sportscaster at some point in your life?
Maybe.
Maddie, I tell you, will you do me a favor and call back another time? You got good stuff. You bring it strong. But you're too young to be worrying about Monk. You're going to have ulcers at the age of 12.
Yeah, and the only thing Sabonis is going to be eating is that Dan Devone diet. Kale and lentils, baby.
That's right.
I mean, I saw on the text line, how about the hack of Sabonis idea?
Yeah, Sabonis wasn't good. He was a non-factor. You got to think that he's going to be much better in game 2. Hans Kruger. Tish is hanging out in Hercules. Let's get out to Hercules. What's up, Tish?
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Hercules, is midway between Sacramento and San Francisco.
You want knowledge?
I am.
Willie McGee. Do you know who Willie McGee is?
No.
Okay, former baseball star with the St. Louis Cardinals, still resides out there in Hercules. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So listen, I'm one of these rabid Warriors fans. I go to Golden One to watch the Warriors a lot, and usually it looks like a Warriors game when you're at the Golden One. So I do want to agree with you guys. Props to Sacramento for their fans coming out for the game. But I want to say this. I felt that we had to win that first game just to send a message, and we didn't win the game. But I'm really happy with how we played. And again, like the first caller, I feel like you guys are right on point about how everything went. I thought the Warriors did wonderful with defense. I thought they went into the paint more than I expected. In the beginning, they weren't throwing up threes. I felt the whole way through that we were going to win this game. Now, at the end, we didn't win it, but I definitely don't see any reason to be pessimistic. And what I want to see are 5. I want to see 5 and out. I don't want the Warriors to waste a whole lot of time on the Kings when we have real opponents coming up.
Whoa.
But I'm happy that the Kings got a win. I'm happy Coach Brown got Coach of the Year. But I don't know. I thought the Warriors played better than I expected. And thank God that kid stayed on the bench at the end, Jordan Poole. I was so worried Jordan Poole was going to come out. And I thought it was the perfect ending. I can live by a missed 3 by Steph. If it had been Jordan Poole throwing up a 3, I'd be on my way up to Sacramento to strangle him.
Tish, that's good insight. And I think that you're spot on for a lot of people that it was a good game, and there's this weird sense of, I shouldn't say confidence, but I do think that the Warriors feel as though they're about as good of a place they could be following a loss in game 1 of the playoffs.
Can we cut out this civil crap, though?
What civil crap?
Everyone's so civil. I'm happy for Sacramento. Good for Mike Brown. It's the playoffs.
No, I know.
That's game one. That's massive. Do you think, because the narrative was set down here that, Warriors in 5, Warriors in 6. Are Kings fans saying, if you are a Kings fan cruising around right now, hopefully you're enjoying your Sunday, beautiful day out around the bay.
Well, those farmers are eating that breakfast at 5. They've been up at 5 in the morning out of the coop with that 1,800 calorie breakfast of eggs and throw the syrup
Honey
on the
butter
eggs and
on the
hash
biscuit
browns.
with a little chicken on top.
Let me go roto-till 14 acres
Let
and
me
feed
ask,
the pigs.
though. Let me ask. Are Kings fans or were Kings fans heading into this series saying the same thing? Kings in 5, Kings in 6. Let's not forget, the Warriors were atrocious on the road this season. 11-30. They were not good on the road. Now, I know they ended strong, winning, 4 or 5, with weak competition on the road, and teams were sitting out players to a certain degree down the stretch, especially with Sacramento. But this was a Warriors team all year that I was Mr. Positive in here. I was cruising around all the time, listening to 95.7 and Steiny and Guru and whoever it may be. The Warriors stink. It's over. The dynasty's over. I was the one that was sitting here saying it's going to be fine. Everybody relax. But now I feel like it's a little, everyone's just saying, it's fine. Lost game 1. Good for them. We're happy for Mike Brown. Let's give everyone in Sacramento a hug. They took game 1. No, they win game 2.
Uh-oh.
Yikes.
All right.
Yikes.
Hey, Kevin, will you do me a favor and hang out through the break? We got some callers on the line. I need you guys. We just got to pay some bills. We'll be back in about 90 seconds. Kev, stick through the break. The rest of you stick through the break. We'll get to your phone calls. We'll continue the conversation. The Warriors down 1-0 in the best of 7 of the Sacramento Kings. It's chucking down right
Jimmy
back
Jacket.
at you. We'll be back after this.
He's the best interview in the Bay Area.
Dub Nation, this is Steve Kerr.
Well, I think the fact that we've lost so many games that we felt like we should have won, we know we're right there.
He's on every single week during the NBA season.
Yeah, 100%.
Steve Kerr.
That is absolutely something I believe, and that's what we're working on. That's the plan.
On 95.7. Only from Xfinity. The future starts now.
Our oceans are home to most of the life on Earth. But today, plastic pollution is killing our oceans. 33 billion pounds of plastic enter the oceans every year. That's roughly
They've got rid of all the food in the commissary. There's no more Chuck Wagon, and Cam's been benefiting from that. He hasn't been walking out after the 20-minute breaks and grabbing himself some cheddar and sour cream Ruffles.
You know what the problem is, Cam, is I know you, man. You get sideways, it's 2 a.m, and you start just crushing burritos and burgers, and then you wake up with that stuff in your throat. I've been there. You'll be all right. All right, anytime somebody hangs out through the break, is on the phone line, we got to come up with something for him. Give him a button, a badge, or something, man. It's strong. It's showing that you're loyal. Kevin, let's not waste any more time and get back out to you and see what you got in Pleasanton for us this evening. P-Town, as it's known. Talk to me, P-Town.
Thanks, guys. Hey, listen, we are who we are. Steve hasn't done any coaching adjustments the entire season. All the hosts have been saying the same thing. We just shoot threes. This comes down to Mike Brown versus Steve Kerr. Steve made no game time adjustments. He had a whole week to prepare. We come out looking exactly the same. And I called in 3 games in, beginning of the season. I said, guys, we have to evolve. And then I think Guru got mad at me and said, what do you mean evolve? And, because he's a homer. But the bottom line, what I'm saying is that everybody has figured us out. We set bar, but let's evolve and do something different, but we haven't. So what's going to happen is we're just going to shoot these, and that's what we do, unfortunately. If Draymond just scored 8 points, we win this game. Steve could have said, okay, Draymond, we're going to send X amount of plays up. We could have done that. How much pressure was that on Wiggins to play 28 minutes? I mean, no adjustments. So that's all I have to say, guys. We've got to make adjustments. Hopefully Steve Kerr would do that. Otherwise, it's going to be short for us. I'm out, guys.
No, good job, Kevin. That's a rack 'em. That was solid, man.
I do want to go back to that, 10 seconds left in the game. Clay's driving, and he kicks it to the corner, and Wiggins. That's just kind of the mentality right now. Clay could have pulled up right there. He had about a 15-footer that he could have easily pulled up for uncontested, and instead kicked it to the corner. 1-point game at that point, right?
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Listen, you get Wiggins, who is good, open in the 3 to win the game.
Would you rather have a 15-footer from Clay? Now, I'd have to watch it back meticulously and see whether there'd be a hand in his face. But from what I remember, 15-footer from Clay, top of the key, or kick it in the corner to Wiggins, who his shot all game was suspect.
Well, we're sort of, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't for that of our man Klay Thompson, because we're talking about him shooting too many ill-advised threes. I think that was the one time where he drew a crowd and kicked. He made the right play. He made the right basketball play. I don't think there was that mid-range was available on that particular sequence. The question I guess you would ask yourself is, and I don't necessarily have an issue with it, should Wiggins have been in the game to close things out? And 28 minutes. He was only 1 of 8 from 3. Should you entrust Wiggins with that shot? The other thing is, and getting back to Kevin's phone call, I'm with you, man. Mike Brown came out with a box and 1. He went box and 1 on Steph Curry. I don't think anybody saw that coming, including his own players. They were talking about, a lot of those guys were coming to the sidelines going, where am I supposed to be on this? So Mike Brown is showing that I can be a little innovative, man. He did some things there that he's proven to people, and this is an opportunity for him to sort of forget about the Kings taking the mantle from the Warriors. This could be an opportunity. I talked about De'Aaron Fox supplanting Steph Curry and Klay Thompson in the household names that suddenly, I'm the new kid on the block. Well, the same holds true, I think, for Mike Brown to a certain degree, although we're still very, very early into this thing.
510 does have a good point, though, saying Wiggins was 1 of 7 from 3 before that missed 3. So his 3-pointers weren't dropping all game. He was on the baseline. Why not drive that in there? It goes back to the point. I know what you're saying here. Like, there are NBA players. You get the open 3. You take the open 3 there. Why not take a dribble and hit from 12 feet? He had all the space in the world, no?
Yeah, he caught it in rhythm.
So
he's open.
You love perimeter jumpers. You've been sitting here this entire time. Drive, kick, perimeter jumpers, until I actually say, why not drive in, take the easy shot, then you don't like it.
Well, on that particular play, you got to shoot it. It was well designed. On that particular play, like, I don't mind that 3. I'm talking about throughout the course of the second half. You got that 10-point lead, and the Warriors were looking for the dagger, and they shoot threes, and then in the fourth quarter, their whole attack offensively is designed around the three, and they live and die by the three. You become one-dimensional. When it works, yeah, everybody, it's a party. But when you're off and you're clanking, it creates runouts for the other team. It puts Sacramento in transition, and you become this one-trick pony. And you've got to be able to score different ways in the NBA these days.
I thought, though, the Kings were going to dominate in transition with the Warriors' turnover issues and the Kings' ability to run. They only had 5 points off the 15 Warriors turnovers. So that was not an issue at all.
And the 15 turnovers, you can live with that. I don't think turnovers, as much as we talked about going into this game, were the deciding factor last night. In fact, I think the Warriors played a good basketball game, quite frankly. I know we want to talk about, another loss on the road. They had a 10-point lead, couldn't close on the road. I don't think any of that stuff is attributed to what we witnessed last night.
We're sitting here talking so much about the offensive ineptability down the road and some of the bad shots that they took, and there was no doubt about it that there were some threes where it was just head-scratching. In the final 4 minutes where you're just like, what was that shot right there? There's not 3 seconds on the shot clock. Work it around, find something better. That's going to be open anytime you have the ball in your hands. But we're spending so much time on offense. They gave up 36 in the third and 35 in the fourth, did the Warriors. It was 29 and 26 in the first half the Kings scored. And in the second half, it's 36 and 35.
It's that dribble penetration, man. Listen, De'Aaron Fox, GP2.
You lost the game defensively, just like you've done all season. You lost the game defensively. It has nothing to do with offensive ineptability, if that's even a word.
I think when you get to the defensive end, you have got to listen, De'Aaron Fox is a hard watch, but GP2, this is what you do. Something's got to give here. So GP2 needs to play more. He just needs to play more basketball. DiVincenzo, I love. DiVincenzo is a good basketball player, but if you're talking about he's getting the most minutes on De'Aaron Fox, that ain't going to work.
It was 20 and 20. They each got 20 minutes. So you'd like to see 25-15? 28-12.
I want to see GP2 get the lion's share of watching De'Aaron Fox. He has to. You can't afford to have him sit as long as he did. And speaking of sitting, hey man, it's the playoffs. If you look at when it is that the Sacramento Kings made their run, it was at the end of the third.
No Curry?
Curry comes out of the game, and that's your contest. Essentially, Curry comes out, and suddenly that 8-10-point lead is gone. It's over. This is the playoffs. De'Aaron Fox, I believe you got your paper, nerd boy. He had 40 points, or he played in 40 minutes.
I was going to say, my paper says 38.
Is it 38?
Yeah, you nerd.
No.
Yeah, he had 38. Fox, 38 points.
No, minutes. I want to hear you say 40. You're right, Dan. Let's get our first you're right, Dan. How many minutes?
I think 39 minutes and 48 seconds to be exact.
Thank you. You're right,
Dan.
Dan.
40. You're right, Dan.
He played 40 minutes in that contest. Steph Curry, it's the playoffs. Listen, man, sleep when you're dead. All right? Sleep when you're dead. This is the postseason. Steph comes out of the game. The Sacramento Kings take the lead. Is that coincidental? I don't think so. He needs to be on that floor. And what happens in the playoffs is you get an extended period of rest, right, in between games. Now, not games 1 and 2, but after game 2, you got some good 3 days off. I don't know that Steph can come out of the game for 6 or 7 minutes anymore. Not now. Not now. And he's the best conditioned, one of the best conditioned athletes going. And that was the game, man. He comes out and boom. Steve Kerr does not have the luxury.
How many minutes in the third did he come out with? 3 minutes left?
I think he came out, with about 3 minutes
You got to take him out with 30 seconds left. So you get him that rest in between quarters, and he's ready to go for the fourth. But yeah, 3 minutes it was a 10-point game with, I think, 4 minutes left in the quarter, and then it was a 1-point Kings. It was, a 15-4 run to end the quarter over a span of 3 minutes while Curry was out?
Do we want to do Jordan Poole? Let's go. And I know people think I hate on this guy. I don't. I think he's a remarkable player, and I don't want to hear the NPF talk. Most punchable faces.
That's a night show thing.
Yeah, we're not doing punchable. We're not punching anybody anymore. All right? No punchable. That's Grayson Allen.
Ever since Grant said, "Who the hell is Dan Devone?" It hasn't been.
Oh, yeah,
the
you
same.
want to punch somebody? Grant Cohn's always there. All right? Go, go sock that melon. But as far as our man, Jordan Poole, that's not why it's not where I'm going with this. But this is big boy basketball now. Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, I was like in the 5th grade. And I was like, I wanted to play. I was really good when I was playing basketball, right? Man, I'm telling you, I could ball.
You held the San Ignatius scoring record until Darion Trammell took you down.
That wasn't true, but what I was playing in the playgrounds. This is during the summer, and I remember I always wanted to play against the 8th grade. I wanted to play against teenagers. I'm like, I want to play against teen. I just want to hold my own. Everybody know I could ball as a kid, and I got an opportunity to play in this full court game against these teenagers. And I remember the day after, my buddy who was my age, his older brother was in that game, who was a teenager, had told his brother that, yeah, Dan ain't ready for this. Dan's good with you guys, with the kids. Dan ain't ready to play with us teenagers. And I remember this kid.
Dan's just a child.
Yeah, telling me this, and I was absolutely deflated. And I get that feeling with Jordan Poole. If you're wondering how I was going to bring all these roads back to JP, because it all starts with me, as we all know.
You just wanted to mention that you were a great basketball player
of
when you were 8.
Man. If
where we're going.
If you're tuning in for the first time, I'm pretty insecure, so I got to talk about me about every 5 minutes. So let me go here. That I think Jordan Poole, it was big boy basketball last night. That was playoffs, that was defense, and that was big shots, and I didn't see him. I know he had 17, and he was good in the first half, but I need more. If you want that contract, which you got, this is not about scoring points against the Charlotte Hornets on a Tuesday night in February. Are they coming for us? All right, I hear the sirens. This is about right now doing the little things and then getting big baskets. That's how you earn your check with the Golden State Warriors. And if Steve Kerr doesn't have confidence in playing you in crucial moments, that speaks volumes. Go ahead. Your thoughts on JP?
Well, a few thoughts. First things first, 9-man rotation. We're talking about that all year, how the rotation's going to shrink. I think eventually it gets down to, 8 moving forward. I think the minutes, 20 minutes for DiVincenzo, I think you hit the nail on the head. Maybe a little too much. Maybe 15. Maybe give an extra 5, extra 7 minutes to Gary Payton II. Kuminga's 10 minutes. I don't know. Kuminga was interesting, but going back to your point, we'll talk plenty about Kuminga. We're here till noon, folks. Here till noon. He is who he is. Maybe he changes moving forward.
Wait, who are we talking about? Kuminga or Jordan Poole? All right.
Jordan Poole. He is who he is.
Who is he?
Who is he?
Besides number one on the MPF.
He's someone that all the intangibles you're asking for right now, big boy basketball, that's not who he is right now. I think he can.
Robin on line one. Countdown to Robin.
I think he could still contribute to a championship caliber team. You saw it last year. You saw it in the first half. He's good in spurts. Is he worth the money? Now, that's what everyone's holding him to.
Well, let's get back to last year.
But guess what? He's not getting paid right now.
But
once it kicks in next year, then get on him. But hey, for what he's getting paid currently, this second, he was all right. He was all right.
You can't be all right. He cannot be just all right if you're going to win another chip.
Well, Dante DiVincenzo was all right. They got the same amount of minutes.
No, see, that's the miss. When you compare Dante DiVincenzo to Jordan Poole, oftentimes you're looking at a box score and you're looking at numbers. What Dante will give you if he's not scoring is Dante is all hustle. Dante gives you offensive rebounds for a guard. Steve Kerr looked for things that are nuanced when it comes to his players. He wants winning basketball plays, and that doesn't always necessarily mean putting the ball in the basket. Jordan Poole can do that, but guess what? The NBA has got those coconuts all over the place, and they always have dudes who can score. Why do the Warriors win titles? It's because they can score and then do all the other things. And Jordan Poole is yet to prove to me or anybody else that he has grown up and put on the big boy pants, just like me trying to play with teenagers, and proven that he can do the other things so that he can become a player that can either D up, give you rebounds, assist, or make winning basketball plays that have nothing to do with him scoring.
No, you're right. I mean, the Rockets have about 5 guys that play like Jordan Poole, and look how the Rockets did this year. A lot of people could score the basketball. You're right.
Cooper's hanging out in El Sobrante. Oh, we got a newbie.
What happened to
here.
Robin?
I don't know, but Cooper, a newbie here. All right, let's see what Cooper's got. I don't recognize the name. Coop, I'm a little hesitant to bring you on. What you got, bro? You better come strong.
What's up, fellas? It's good to be here with you this morning. I just wanted to chime in my 2 cents on Jordan Poole. When he got signed for that contract, I said to myself, if he can improve and be consistently scoring at least 20 points a night and look at the model of Steph Curry and slowly improve his team defense over time, it's worth it. He hasn't done that. Last night was this maddening play. It was in the 3rd or 4th quarter. I think it was Fox who was charging down the court.
Yeah.
And he was about to
Great point.
paint. And Poole stood there like a statue and did nothing.
Thank you.
And when all he had to do was get low and funnel him into some taller person, it was just like, oh my God, this guy needs to learn how to play team defense. And that's a mentality thing, and it just doesn't seem like he has it. So thanks, fellas.
Hey, Coop, call again. That's awesome observation. Coop is right on, man. That play needs to be circled. It needs to be highlighted. As much as we show all the good things that Jordan Poole does, that play typifies exactly what it is that I've been talking about. Jordan Poole wanted nothing to do with De'Aaron Fox, who was coming full tilt. He tried to take maybe the weakest charge I've ever seen. This is about contact. The refs are going to eat their whistles a little bit. You got to play ball now, man. This is big boy basketball. And Jordan Poole wanted nothing to do with it. But let's all remind ourselves he's 23 years of age and that this is all part of the learning process. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
You're talking future, though. Presently, we know that he is who he is. And if you're expecting him to go out there and play 22 minutes every night, which it seems like that's the case, it's what you're going to get. And I don't think the Kings are the most physical team in the playoffs.
No.
They're not the most big boy team in the play. I mean, they score the ball. They're decently physical, but watch out. I mean, he's getting borderline at points unplayable.
When you're talking about the Kings not being physical, which is another reason why you cannot settle for threes, which the Warriors just do repeatedly. Why? Because they're extending and you have an opportunity to get to the rim. And when you get to the rim, there's no rim protector. Sacramento does not have a rim protector. All right? This is a golden opportunity. You know who I think is actually going to rear his head and do some special things is going to be Jonathan Kuminga. Now, Kuminga was okay. I don't think he was bad in his 8 to 10 minutes, but I
thought he was a little out of control.
This is a game for slashers. And you got Wiggins and you got Kuminga, and that's it. For guys who out on the wing, you feel as though can just get to the rack in a step or two and then finish on people. Dan's out in Michigan. Let's get out to the glove state. What's up, Dan? How are you? Are you really in Michigan?
Yeah, I'm really in Michigan. I'm in East Lansing, so shout out to Draymond.
Michigan State territory. Talk to me, Dan. What's up?
I just wanted to say there's one thing that Tom Brady said when he was at the end of his career that he said led him to all his dynasties, and it was the fact of running the same play, the importance of running the same play. No matter what it is, you keep running the same play, and if it doesn't work, you run it over again. And I think that speaks truth to the Warriors because last night we saw they did the right thing over and over again. It just didn't turn in their favor. So we just need to continue running the right plays, doing our style, keeping our same game plan, and we'll be good. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, Dan, I guess the thinking there, if I'm to interpret Dan correctly, is that like just relax, all right? I think these are the Warriors. We always talk about the pedigree, and these guys.
I think there's too much relaxing. There's too much.
You don't like
there's
this.
Too much patty cake going on. There's too much. Hey, let's congrats to the Kings. It's great for basketball. It's awesome seeing the beam lit up. It's a series,
so
folks.
Your nervousness is your high level. Where are you on the meter?
I'm an Indiana Pacers fan, so my nervousness is nowhere. But as someone that would love to see the Warriors go all the way for job purposes, it's very high right now. I think the Sacramento Kings can absolutely win this series. I'll say it.
All right.
I'll say it. Hands up.
So you think last night? So I get a sense after watching
I think De'Aaron Fox.
He's not doing that again.
Minus,
he's amazing. He ain't doing that again.
Yeah, he'll do it again.
Nah, he's not going for 38.
I'll go for 35 then. He's a superstar. He's an absolute superstar.
He can't
Why
shoot.
fans in Sacramento wanted to run this guy out of town a couple of years ago, and we'll get into that after the break. But it was, should we keep Fox or should we keep Halliburton? Should we bring in Ben Simmons? Should we bring in Bradley Beal? There was legitimate talks of potentially moving away from De'Aaron Fox. I don't know if it was front office talks. It was just that fan chatter, that everyone has. Like, oh, let's bring this guy in, bring that. But I think a lot of people.
They got it right, by the way, at the end of the day with Sabonis.
Yeah.
And Therese Halliburton, it's one of those trades that worked out for both teams.
Monty McNair has done everything right up there the last few years in terms of draft picks.
All this Sacramento knowledge.
I forget Mitchell.
KOVR.
We'll get into that, yeah. We'll get into that.
I forgot. Chuck worked out there in Sacramento.
I got a cup of coffee.
He knows.
They called me up to the Bigs. They said, hey, you want to work at CBS San Francisco instead of CBS Sacramento? And I said, yeah.
Want to hold Vern
When
Glenn's,
can I start?
Vern Glenn's jock? Hang on to that thing, kid. I'll be back in an hour. Here's the thing, though. When it comes to the Sacramento Kings, you're right when it comes to De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox is a likable guy, by the way. I mean, I think that you talk about ambassadors for basketball. This kid, it's hard to hate on this kid. I don't think he's shooting threes like that in game 2. He may, his floater.
Where's the box?
He's going to get to the rim.
What was he? 4 of 8? You're probably right.
He's not shooting threes like that. He was out of his mind. But the sign, and why I'm saying Jordan Poole, it's about when you score your points in big boy pants. And I know people defend Poole, and I like the kid. I'm just saying to get to that level, it's when you do it. And when does De'Aaron Fox go off? It's the fourth quarter. And that's when you separate boys from men.
Getting back to your point,
closes,
though,
man.
You're sitting here and you're saying this isn't going to happen in game 2. De'Aaron Fox isn't doing this. Malik Monk's not going for 32. You're probably right. Fox will probably go for 34. He probably won't go for 38. Malik Monk will probably go for 12. But different guys will step up. Maybe Sabonis has a little better of a time finishing
Hans
down
Kruger.
low. Maybe he has a little bit better of a time finishing down low on Kevon Looney. Keegan Murray was terrible.
2 points for the kid out of Iowa.
Maybe he picks it up. And then Red Velvet, Kevin Herter, 0 of 5 from 3.
Can I give you my stick for him?
That
You know
doesn't
who he is?
happen. That doesn't happen.
Can I give you my stick
He's
for
gonna
Herter?
hit some threes this series.
Hey, Cam, come with me on this. Do you remember this? I may predate all you guys. You know who Jeff Herter is? Malibu's Most Wanted. Anybody seen the movie?
Of course.
With the headband?
Yeah, it's like a 2002 classic.
2003. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, we continue here. Warriors are down 1-0. I've been asking all day long. Well, actually, since 9 o'clock. Where are you at as far as being nervous? I get a sense, and I actually feel this way, that after that loss, it didn't have the stench of those road losses we've witnessed and dealt with all year long. We're just
because they played well.
Yeah, and I also feel.
But do you realize the Kings are very good?
Yeah,
after that
but
game?
I think they took their best shot, and I think the Warriors are like, yeah, we got these boys. And I know you're on the other end of that ledger.
No, I just think I think it's close. I think it's going to be a good series throughout, and I think the Warriors let one slip away that they should have won.
All right,
they had chances down the stretch.
Where are you at, Warrior fans? Are you like me, thinking you're down 1-0, but we're okay?
You've been saying they're terrible all year, and now all of a sudden your rhetoric changes?
Oh, are you like that at Chuck? Are you nervous, and did you wet yourself? We're back after this.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare.
man. He's ripped. Got to watch myself because he could come in here and just pound me at any second now.
I think every producer could kick your ass.
By the way, it's beautiful outside right now.
Oh, wonderful Sunday.
It is a gorgeous Sunday.
Driving in on the Embarcadero, looking around at all the smiling faces. It's like you wouldn't even know that the Warriors lost last night.
So your level of nervousness, I want to get back to this. So you really have a sense of fear that the Sacramento Kings are going to win. And why not? You're down 1-0. You've only won 11 games on the road. The Sacramento Kings just took it to you in a very highly entertaining contest, and you think that the sense of desperation and nervousness, because let's face it, not to go there, but I will go there, that if it ends against Sacramento, this could be it for the Golden State Warriors. Don't want to go last dance, but there's so many moving parts, whether it's Bob Myers, whether it's Draymond opting out. What are you going to do with Klay Thompson? Does he get the extension? This could be it. So maybe we should share your sentiment. And maybe I can't speak for everybody out there, but maybe we should share your sentimentality in terms of, I'm sitting on one butt cheek.
We talked the entire season about
Is your arse tight?
My arse is very tight. We talked all season, though, about how Golden State, you are what your record is. And for Golden State, it was, for the most part, average. And on the road, it wasn't good. But there was that underlying feeling in most people's brains, like they're the champions, and until someone proves that they can take them down, they're still the champions and they're still the team to beat. If Sacramento takes 2 at Golden One Center and goes up 2, has all the momentum, what makes you so confident that Golden State's just going to roll the ball out there and they're still the champions?
Because they've done it before. And until
How many times did they come back down 2-0?
4 games, and
How many times did they come back down 2-0?
Well, nerd boy, I don't have stats. I'm willing to say that maybe it's never happened.
Boom.
So here's why there's a level of confidence, I think, for the Golden State Warriors. Is that last night, despite the fact that they lose, it, again, was not reminiscent of a typical road loss that we've experienced all year long. I think they played well, and I just feel...
Doesn't that worry you? They played well and still lost?
Well, what worries me, if I was to go down your road, if I was to join you...
Almost as if the Kings are good?
What worries me is that when you think about the Warriors and the postseason and flipping that switch, when you're up 10 in the third, or if it's nip and tuck against the Kings and the game's hanging in the balance in the fourth quarter...
Put them away.
Those are the games the Warriors usually win.
Put them away.
Warriors win those games.
And they had chances down the stretch.
98% of the time. Whether it's a Wiggins 3 or whatever, they just win. I don't care how you get it done. We're just accustomed to you winning those games.
But this year's installment, the entire year, and going back to, if we're not talking just this year, going back to the calendar being flipped to start the year in 2022, it was even worse, to be honest with you, on the road. There have been road woes since day one this season, and it looked like maybe they'd figured it out lately against garbage competition, but they're still going to have to win a road game to win this series. And you go down 0-2, then you got to win your home games too. You got to win everything. So this game coming up is massive. I'm not saying that I picked the Warriors in 6. I still, if you were putting money on it, now the odds are a little better. 3 days ago, Warriors were minus 290 to win this series. But guess what? The Kings were favorites to win yesterday's game. So this is going according to Vegas's script. They said the Kings are going to win game 1, Warriors are going to dominate this series. And maybe that happens. I'm just saying there is a lot of confidence around the Bay Area for a team that all year has been awful on the road.
Remember the Boston Celtics NBA Finals, to take you back to last year, game 1?
I do.
Horford going nuts from three-point territory. Derek White, who the hell are you, Derek White? He just couldn't miss from three-point land, and the Celtics went up 1-0.
All year you've been getting on me for saying it's a new year, Chuck. It's a new year, and now you're going into my bag of tricks. It's like it's Freaky Friday over here. We've switched spots.
Here's the thing: is that you can't reference anything prior to today because I'm like the wind, man. I'll just change. I'm like the current. So remember that game? They lose game 1. And Horford's going nuts with threes. Derek White's hitting threes. And they lose to the Celtics. Yet, I remember distinctly Draymond Green in his podcast talked about, listen, We're down 1-0 to the Celtics. Should we be nervous? Hell yeah. It's the NBA Finals. Of course we should be scared. We just lost a home game. But we're not, is essentially what you say, because that ain't happening.
Well, they're going to say that every year.
Yeah, but
eventually, one of these days, they're going to lose, unless they're, your age, running out there with their walker.
Oh, thank you. Age shaming. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I got to do it. I only have so many years until the young whippersnapper comes in here and says, Chuck, you old man, you got a big old gut on you. Quit eating those chicken biscuits for breakfast, man, you savage.
I cannot look. I tell you what, the future for you with that receding hairline.
No, we get to the gym 6 days a week, Dan. We're good, man. We burn off the calories.
But Derek, when they hit all those threes is the point I'm making. They were just like, you know what? You're not going to do that again. We just took essentially your best shot. You are not beating us again.
You think that was the Kings' best shot, though? With Sabonis missing layups left and right, with Herter missing every three, and with Keegan Murray playing like a trash can.
You know why? Because I think that one of the questions about the Kings was their youth and inexperience, and I think you saw that with Keegan Murray, and I don't see him coming out of that hole anytime soon.
I think all the pressure was on them game one.
Hans Gruber is not
yippee-ki-yay.
He's a guy that when I look at him, I didn't see necessarily missed shots as opposed to schematically, dude, you don't scare us. Looney was up in on him. They were forcing him to his offhand. I think that just schematically, whether it's Green or whether it's Sabonis, they're saying we're going to take you out of this series.
All right. Let's go.
But is De'Aaron Fox going to give you 38? And the question is Malik Monk going to give you 34 off the bench? That's the looming question. And I think what Draymond and Steve Kerr was telling you last night is like, that ain't happening again.
The nerd goggles are back on. Hey, Kevon Looney had 5 fouls yesterday. So I know what you're saying. Yes, Looney was eating them up down low. Looney defensively was better than Sabonis was offensively. What happens if Looney gets into foul trouble? That's a thing. Then who? Where's Jimmy Wise?
Yeah. Jimmy Wise is
in Motown eating Detroit-style pizza. He's not coming back anytime soon. That's what scares you. 3 fouls in the first half, then Sabonis can make you pay.
No, that's true. The Warriors have very little depth when it comes to bigs.
Looney played 32 minutes yesterday.
In fact, they don't have any bigs aside from that of Looney. And again, we're talking about how they got the offensive rebounds, which was a key yesterday. Steve Kerr mentioned it frequently, how they got second chances, and the Warriors have to improve when it comes to rebounding the basketball. And that's been a problem all year long, simply because they're a small basketball team. And teams that are larger and bigger always punish them.
They were a small basketball team last year, though, and there were games where they were dominating Memphis on the glass, and they took it to Boston on the glass in game 2.
I don't think it's an issue, but you do need to rebound better than that. Wiggins was good, but Wiggins, one of the things he did not do well, and he typically does, which is why you shouldn't be too worried, is he didn't rebound last night. And Jonathan Kuminga, as much as I've been on this guy and I feel as though I'm his agent, I will sell this guy to anybody. I think he's a budding star. But the one thing, JK, Mr. Congo, what you need to do is rebound the basketball.
Over under half a rebound yesterday.
I'll tell you how much he had. The middle of a bagel.
Take the under. Yep, 0.
No rebound. You cannot do that, JK. Jonathan Kuminga, no rebounds. You're 6'8", bro. GP2's snaring boards. How many did he have?
GP2. 4.
4 more than Jonathan Kuminga. And I know GP2 played more minutes, but listen, come on, man. You want to stay on the floor? I'll spell it out for you, Jonathan Kuminga, because I saw his body language. He's frustrated coming out of the game. Rebound the basketball. Everybody, and you know what rebounding is? It's putting a body on somebody. You talk about St. Ignatius? I'll take you back in the day. I'll take you to Stewart Hall, Coach Sinclair. Just find a body and stick your arse on him and get a board. It's all about want to.
You know, we could say ass on the air. Arse. With that being said,
let's just hear Mitch. Really, let me get Mitch out of the way. Get out to Jersey to my old man Mitch.
Yeah,
sorry.
All right. I'll try to remember my thought.
It's either you and Mitch.
Get to Mitch. I got nothing.
Either one is like it's not going to be very entertaining. Sorry, Mitch. It's been a while, bro. How you been?
Good. How's everything? Everything's been pretty good. Things are going fast. You know, life is going fast. Hope everything's well.
You miss me, Mitch?
I do miss you. Believe me.
All right.
I'm a grandfather now, so I'm still getting the diaper change. He's 9 months.
You're a grandfather? Who the hell married you? Let alone you got grandkids.
I'm an actual grandfather now. Great kid. I love this day.
Hey, Mitch, we got to run, bro, but I love you. What do you got really quick? You get 10 seconds.
Yeah. Great game last night. Our bench got to play better. I want to see more from our young guys. They're a much younger team, Sacramento. So I want to see more from Kuminga, and even Moody.
I love you, Mitch. Call back anytime, bro.
He led me right into my point. Jonathan Kuminga.
He just called, I like that, Kamudi.
Yeah. Kamudi. I like it. Moses Moody.
Kuminga and Moses Moody.
Kamudi. Kuminga.
You believe that guy's got grandkids? There's hope for all of us.
He seems like a feast or famine kind of player right now, does he not? Like, Kuminga. You look at his splits. Nerd again. Poindexter over here. Dmitry Petrovic. With that being said, Kuminga plays over 25 minutes. He's extremely effective. But when you stick him in there for spurts, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes, something about his body language, something about maybe him heating up to the game, whatever it may be. This is just my observation, and my points are irrelevant here. With that being said, it seems like he needs more minutes to kind of, give himself that opportunity to be Jonathan Kuminga. And there just aren't minutes to go around in this playoff series. So maybe it is feast or famine, and it's famine for him this series, and you don't play him 10 minutes. You play him 0.
No 0. I think the 10 minutes is what he's having a hard time with. And I think it's, what squeezed him is the return of Wiggins, which is taking away his minutes.
And Peyton. That's two players.
Peyton came into this thing, and it's really sort of disgruntled this guy. But
so is it not, we'll see in October. You're going to be great next year, but right now.
No. And just hear me out, fans. Jonathan Kuminga against Sacramento will have a game. He will have, it could be Monday, because this matchup, and it's all about matchups when you go from series to series. This matchup favors him. They want to get out and run, and that's what Sacramento does. That floor is wide open. This is tailor-made for Jonathan Kuminga. And Jonathan Kuminga he played well last night. He wasn't bad, but he continues to, get himself in trouble. You can't have he's the one guy that looks vulnerable. He's the one guy in the Warriors that you look at if you're Sacramento and you're like, that guy just traveled with the basketball. What?
He's 20.
And then he clanks one off. I know, but there's no excuses at this point. I like his game, but I do think that he will earn some minutes and he's going to be an impact in this series because
I don't.
It favors his style of play.
It does favor his style of play, but I don't. And I think I love Kuminga. I think he's going to be a superstar in this league. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe not Thursday.
And the thing is,
I'll put it next to your Jimmy G's going to be in MVP conversations on the whiteboard over there. We have some of your takes. We'll put it next to my Zion Williamson's a future Hall of Famer, which, by the way, I'm not going to sell that take because it's a penny stock right now, so I'm just going to stick with it. But I think you may be right. I think Zion may be I think it may be a bad take.
Zion. Well, just let me digress for a moment with Zion Williamson. What is with that? You know what? Who's the general manager? Trajan Langdon over there at the Pelicans. Trajan Langdon, formerly of Duke, by the way, the greatest athlete to ever come out of the state of Alaska. So, really quick, you brought up Zion Williamson. The guy hasn't played, despite being cleared medically the last month of the season. They need him. They want to get into the playing game, and he's like, I really can't go. I looked at him at a press conference. I thought it was Oprah. You see how big he is now? I thought it was Anthony Anderson from Blackish. It's like, who is this dude? He was so big. If I'm Trajan Langdon, I call him in my office. You know what I tell him? I'm like, you know what? Let's just be very diplomatic about this.
We're not paying this guy.
Well, they already did. They gave $200 million. This is what I would say to him. Like, I know
not paying him anymore.
This is what I would say, Zion. I know you're having issues. And I know that there's some things going on. There's some mystery as to why you're not playing. God, how do I put this to you? Stop eating, fat boy! You fat bastard! Stop eating! How's that? I mean, he's got no mystery.
Cam!
All right.
Cam will show
Let's
him the
get back
ropes.
to the Golden State Warriors. For crying out loud. Why do you do that to me?
I don't do anything.
I go down that road?
I brought up Zion Williamson, and you could have digressed. You could have moved on. You could have gone back to the Warriors, and you start giving fat bastard references.
You know, the text line.
I didn't eat con.
The Kings have zero rim protection. You're right. You're absolutely right, man. And Kuminga will be big. You got to break through that first seal. See, what Sacramento's doing, they're overextending, right? They're what are you laughing at?
Anthony Anderson ain't big from 510. Quit disrespecting.
I love Anthony Anderson. He's hilarious. No, but they're overextending, which gives you the opportunity to get to the rim. Like, go to the rim. And that's why Jonathan Kuminga is going to be a factor. And there is nobody, once you get to that rim, that should scare you. All right? Hans is not going to be, he's not getting in the way of you. You can get to the rim. You can.
Have a little respect for Arvydas Sabonis' son.
Now, he's good.
He's a good player.
He is, and I think I'm with you. I think you'll hear he'll be a lot louder in game 2.
No one on the text line thinks he's any good, apparently. Everyone, he's soft. The Warriors aren't going to have any issues with Sabonis. I'm telling you, everyone that's saying the Kings played out of their mind last night and they'll never play like that again, Kings have been good all year. Been good the entire season. They've been consistent all year.
Guess what?
And De'Aaron Fox has scored. He was on my fantasy team. The team that lost every single game.
Is for real.
He scores 30+ every single night. So you saying he's not going to go off like that?
No,
yes, he is.
He's not going to give you. Nah, he ain't giving you 38. He may be 25,
35.
Nah, he ain't giving you 38 again.
We'll make a gentleman's bet. I guarantee you he scores over 32.
No, there's no way in hell. Gentleman's bet. I don't do gentleman's bet.
I bet he scores over 30 on Monday.
I bet you. No.
If they I'll tell you this: if they put Gary Payton II on him for 35 minutes, if Payton's getting run like that, maybe even put a little Wiggins on him. Wiggins probably ain't quick enough.
You have to. DiVincenzo cannot watch De'Aaron Fox as many minutes, the 20 minutes he did last night. That ain't working. And I'm a big DiVincenzo fan. But he cannot stay with De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox is just too quick. De'Aaron Fox, his little mid-range, man, when he wants to just show you that drive and then pull up and then hang in the paint from 8 feet, he doesn't miss. And the fourth quarter, he smells the finish line. But what I'm not buying on him is stepping beyond the stripe and doing what he did last night. He ain't doing that again.
That's fair, but we talk law of averages, and if he's not doing it, then Red Velvet will. Kevin Huerter will knock down 2 or 3, and there's your difference there. It's team game.
I just offended a listener. What did I say?
You're being mean to Zion, my guy. I'm still, the take's still there. Hall of Famer, Zion. It looks terrible right now. It's, I bought it when it was up at $1,000 a share, and it's down to about $2.50 right now. But I'm holding on to it. What good is selling it?
I will fat shame him every day of the week. I'm sorry. I would love for you to come back, listener, but that dude has got to push away. If Cam can do it, Zion, come on, man. Gave you too many zeros, brother. But forget about Zion. As it relates to the Golden State Warriors, I think Jonathan Kuminga is going to have a role before it's all said and done with, because this just plays right into him. But the bench right now, there's somebody has got to rear its head, all right? And I think that, because I'm really curious about Andrew Wiggins when it comes to game 2. Because game 1, oftentimes when you're out for a while, you can get through that game 1. And again, a lot of it is energy and adrenaline. And game 2 is oftentimes when that's deflated, is when you see the rust. So I don't know that you can rely on Andrew Wiggins. So somebody else, and I think that somebody's got to be a Jordan Poole, has got to come back. And I know the 17 points were impressive, but 17 points in the first half or majority in the first, I need you, big buckets down the stretch. I need you taking that charge against De'Aaron Fox. I need you to know where you need to be on that rotation. This is about a guy that wants to be a significant contributor to a championship team. If that's the case, when it gets down to crunch time in fourth quarter, that's when you need to make your threes. I need you to take over when it counts. And they need somebody else, not named Steph Curry or Klay Thompson, to provide a spark. And I don't know that Andrew Wiggins is going to give it to you. I still think that Russ is going to play a factor in all of this before it's said and done with. And the offense has got to come from somebody else.
Couple points to respond to you. I thought Wiggins was fantastic. 4 blocks yesterday. Defensively, I thought Wiggins looked like he hadn't missed a beat. He's not going to go 1 of 8 from three-point land often and miss the way he did with some bad clanks and missing a wide-open 3 down the stretch that, 35% of the time he's knocking down. I don't think Wiggins is going to be that poor from behind the line in this series. With that being said, Let's go over to Jordan Poole. You talk about how Jordan Poole needs to be this closer, this and that. Has he ever been? I mean, I'm talking in high magnitude situations. Has Jordan Poole ever been that player that's in the last 2 minutes of a game been the guy, been big boy basketball, as you say? He's in the Boston series last year. I mean, Poole had some moments in the first half and in the third quarter of certain games, but I don't remember, correct me if I'm wrong, down the stretch of games, I don't remember Poole ever being that factor.
Well, he better be.
I don't think he has to be.
He needs to. You need production. It doesn't. Okay.
All they needed was for Andrew Wiggins to knock down a wide open three, and it's a 1-0 series. And
I agree with you.
Our point is completely different. All they needed was for Klay Thompson to pass up on some of those errant three-pointers that he took. And granted, he hit 300 of them this year, so you can't get on him too much. But there were some bad shots there. I was watching the end of the game.
No, there's no doubt.
I was watching the end of the game in a cheesesteak shop. Ordering myself a little cheese. Yeah, ordering myself a little cheesesteak.
Where were you?
Zion's. No, I was. It was the cheesesteak shop over in
the city.
In Fairmont, over in Pacifica.
Oh, okay.
And I was at the cheesesteak shop, and they had a bunch of big screens, and I was watching the end.
When's the last time the sun came out in Pacifica?
Today. And there were a bunch of big screens, and Klay took one of those shots late in the game. I was there for a 2-minute stretch. Curry hit that shot from behind the hoop, and everyone's like, oh, my God.
From the corner. That was amazing.
That was amazing.
But that was Klay's fault as well. Klay was trying to take over, and he's looking for a spot, and he dribbled that thing to the shot clock was down to the nub and said, oh, here, take it, Steph. And Steph was like, okay.
And he bailed him out from behind
that was
the hoop.
on Klay.
But when Klay took some of those shots with under 4 minutes to go, there was one that was, he had a hand in his face, and it was deep, and it was just a complete force. And everyone in the cheesesteak shop, they're not NBA scouts. They kind of turned around looking at the person carving up the meat. What the hell was that, Klay?
Yeah, you're right.
There were some bad shots down the stretch.
I agree with you.
And he was a minus 14. That's the worst on the team.
Yeah, he wasn't very good last night, but he did hit some big shots. And Klay is. That's just it. I like Klay.
You gotta live and die with him.
I'll live with Klay when he wants to get to the rim, and he was doing a lot more of that when he's multi-dimensional with his offensive approach. But the threes, the heat check, or I'm in a moment, I'm Klay Thompson, I got this shot. Like, man, we've been there before, and the Warriors are not good when they're just reliant on doing one thing, and that's shooting threes and thinking that it's 2016 all over again. Hey, taking us to the break, Cam, can you give me a little Sacramento? We need to throw some love to the Kings. Kings fans, I'm going to give you, when we come back, I'm going to give you some time. You showed up last night. You lit that beam. The whole country was watching, and you guys delivered. It looked like Peja Stojakovic.
Yeah, his son's going to Stanford. He's Stanford commit.
Way to steal my thunder. Who the hell cares about his son? Back after this.
The 2023 Mountain Winery concert season is here with performances by Smokey Robinson on June 23rd, Chicago on August 29th and 30th, and many more. For the complete 2023 season, tickets, dining, VIP packages, and more, go to mountainwinery.com. Tickets on sale now.
Serious now. By the way, who knew Trey Lyles was so good at basketball?
Well, he's not.
Oh, he looked good last night.
He looked good last night. This is to my point that he's not doing that again.
You want to talk about as someone that covered Kentucky
He's a
during
Canadian, by the
that
way.
stretch. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Him and Wiggs.
And Mark Jones, by the way, who was on the call last night.
Okay. Nice. Oh, Canada. Trey Lyles
Tim
at
Horton
Kentucky.
Donuts.
He was on that team with Anthony Towns and Devin Booker and all them. You want to talk about one of the most underappreciated or irrelevant John Calipari players from that era, and here he is going off in game one. No, Malik Monk was putting up 20 points, 30 points, 40 points against North Carolina in his lone season. Trey Lyles averaged like 7 points, kind of did the little things well. They had 5-6 future NBA players on that team, but I did not know that Trey Lyles was that good at basketball. And you say he's not. Well, he is. Playing in game one and played pretty well.
Trey Lyles has been this might be his fifth team.
That may have been the greatest game of his career.
Yeah, he's okay. He's serviceable, but if he's going to be the reason why the Golden State Warriors,
he did what Al Horford or what Derek White did last year in that game one against Boston. And you say, all right, that's reason that the Warriors should not be too afraid because guys went off that shouldn't go off. And I've rebutted a few times on the show and told you, well, Red Velvet, Kevin Huerter's not going 0 for 5 from 3. And Keegan Murray, I do think, is going to play better, although you say he's afraid of the lights. Golden One Center's bright lights are a little too big for him. He's from Iowa. Never seen anything like it. I think Murray's going to bounce back and have a better game. So it's law of averages that it comes down to. Trey Lyles isn't going to hit. How many did he hit yesterday? 4? 17
points. Did he have 16? He had 17 points.
He hit 4 deep ones yesterday?
And Malik Monk.
4-6.
Malik Monk's not coming off the bench and giving you 34. And Malik.
No, he's not.
But what's representative of Malik Monk as well as De'Aaron Fox. And Fox, it's easier said than done. But for Monk, he cannot get that dribble penetration. It can happen again. We'll give you one. And I don't care if it's Wiggins. And I don't care if it's GP2, somebody has got to lock him up. You cannot get to the rack and shoot 14 free throws. Dude was 14 of 14 from the stripe. There's your game. That cat going to line 14 times and hitting all of them. You're staring at your paper. Let me give you another one.
How do you get to the line 14 times?
Well, because you go at the rim. He was attacking. And the Warriors were on, they were on their skates, man. They were Michael Jackson doing Billie Jean. They were backing up. They were moonwalking. You've got to force that. You have got to do a much better job of ball defense when it comes to those two basketball players. Oh, he's one of my favorites. The location is San Francisco. Simply said, just give me my man, that guy. It's been a while. What's up, that guy?
Oh, our guy.
Hey. What is up, brothers? My man Devone and my guy Chuck. Chill out, Chuck. The only time I see you now is on Channel 5. And I'm going to be, I always keep it 100% with you fellas. I had stopped listening to the station when you guys were gone. In fact, I had to go to the internet to get the phone number. That's how much that without Block, without Styles, without Devone, and my man Chuck Chill out. I don't know how I was turning the station. I was going to put it on some oldies, and I heard my man Devone ran Raven. So I was like a flash in the past. But hey, I got a couple things to mention about the game last night. Now that I'm thinking about it. Why didn't Clay just drive the lane and go for the 2 there? He was wide open, and we could have went up by a point. That's one. But they blew it. They were getting all these fouls. There were like 8 fouls in the last 3 or 4 minutes, and we weren't getting any calls, but they were getting all of them. So, like you were saying, Devon, they have to stop the fouling. They can't let these guys to the line. And I don't know what they need to get Looney in there a little bit sooner. Because when he comes in, he's like a pit bull with the basketball. He's going after it. But they got him in too late, and he wasn't being able to get the foul. I mean, the loose ball. So a couple other things, too. I'll let you guys go, but I appreciate you guys getting me on, is that I think Brown has a clear advantage because he can tell his players, hey, in the last 3 or 4 minutes, this is what's going to go down. This is where Curry's going to go. This is what Draymond does. This is where Clay does. And Kerr doesn't have that advantage. He doesn't know that team like Brown knows this team. And one other thing, those cowbells, man, are pissing me off. Is it legal?
No.
It legal? And I'm going back to the stick. Is it legal? And I'm calling because I'm going to the game for 18,000 fans to bring a foghorn in, and every time they call a timeout, in back of the bench of the Kings, just let that like the old stick. Can we do that? Is that allowed in the building?
Hey, listen, if DeMar DeRozan's kid can scream at free throws, why not, man? There are no rules. But I know the cowbells they're supposed to confiscate those things. Hey, that guy, will you do me a favor? I'm just asking. I know you got stuff to do, but will you call back and will you give us a little freestyle before we're off the air in about an hour and a half?
Yeah, let's see. I'll be heading back. Yeah. I'm on Clement and Geary right now, but I'll give you some freestyle. Let me see. Let me come up with something. I always say it has been a while. It's been a long time.
I know.
I shouldn't have left you without some beats to step to, but I'll call back, brother. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll hear from that guy.
When do we hear you guys again, man?
Well, you just write in. Let them know, man. Just let that.
Where's his snare?
The guy's name's Matt Nahagian. I'll give you his address. Just, I tell you what, every one of you go outside and picket this place and say, I want Chuck and Dan back. Every damn one of you. All right, let's get out to Lou hanging out in Daly City and wants to talk about the Golden State Warriors. What do you got, Lou?
Hello. I'm actually in New York City, but I've been watching the Golden State Warriors since pretty much the beginning of the run. And what I'm seeing this year is no team is really scared of the Warriors no more. And I actually think that this series is the hardest series for Golden State, only because Mike Brown knows the personnel so much, and it's another guy on the bench who used to work for Golden State, who I think pretty much helps with the offense. So I think this might be the hardest series up to maybe the Western Conference Finals if they make it, just because the personnel is so close.
Good job, Lou. Where are you in whatever? He said he was from Daly City. Has anybody ever gotten those two places confused before? Daly City and New York. There might be something to what Lou just said, that you don't instill that fear that, I was referencing Keegan Murray sort of tongue-in-cheek that, hey, man, this is Steph Curry. These are the legends. Do they still walk in the building and demand that respect? Or is this like Tiger Woods in the latter years when all of a sudden some of those kids, Rory McIlroy and some of the younger players on the Dustin Johnson looked at him and, they said, you ain't so bad. Before it was the back nine at Sunday and we'd all crap our corduroys again. I don't know why that reference came from, why it's getting so much play. But now, are they looking at the Warriors like Tiger in the latter years? Like, nah, you're no longer that guy. Is that what's going on here?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
I think they still demand the respect. It took everything. for the Kings to beat them down the stretch. It took everything. I know they were missing some threes.
Brother, pick a lane. You just told me that this is the Sacramento Kings are winning the series, but go ahead.
I did not say that.
Right.
I did not say that. I just said there should be a little bit of everyone that's saying, they're going to come back and they're going to win 4 straight games.
He's waffling.
I'm not waffling. Not waffling whatsoever. you love to cut me off, don't you?
Go ahead, sorry.
I'm waiting for everyone to come in with the picket signs. That's what I'm waiting for.
Go ahead. So what were you saying? So you don't think that this is the beginning of the end? You don't think that you think they instill that level of fear that when it gets, because when it's
I think heading into game 1, probably. And the fact that the Kings were able to, I think game 1 was the biggest in the series for a lot of reasons. Most notably, everyone says, after 17 years, you return to the playoffs, the fan base is showing out like that at Golden One Center. That's a positive. I think it's a negative for the Sacramento Kings. I think all the pressure was on the Kings last night. Now, you can say, the Warriors are supposed to be here, the Kings aren't. Kings are playing free, they're playing loose. I think the Kings last night, I think Keegan Murray's box score kind of shows up with how the Kings should have been feeling. There was some pressure on them to go out, play well, and win that game 1. They're loose now. They're letting it fly. They feel good.
Text line's calling you Charlie Waffling Waters.
Why'd you do that to me?
Man. Hey, so the C-Dub. Let's call you C-Dub. So here's the thing, is I just want to get back to the Warriors and what I think is such at times, they become too reliant on the 3. I know. We've talked about this. Can I give you numbers? I know you love numbers.
No, I don't want your numbers. Screw your numbers. I love how that guy said. Nice. I love how that guy said, you're not very nice. You just called Zion a blimp. With that being said, I love how that guy said, why didn't Klay Thompson just take it in? And we got the text line saying, why'd Wiggins take that 3? He hit the lane. Wiggins is one of the most athletic human beings I've ever seen. He could have taken 2 dribbles and crammed it down their cram hole. Could have cocked that thing back and thrown it down. 1-point lead Warriors, 7 seconds to go. They are too in love with the 3-point shot, but it's not going to change. It is who they are. They've won that way for a long time. They could still win that way, but it does hurt them in situations like that where I am pretty sure, I'd have to go back and look at the highlights, but I am pretty sure that Klay Thompson had numbers in that moment and probably could have taken his defender off the bounce.
You're right. A lot of this is just we're doing a little Monday morning quarterbacking. I didn't, as much as I get on the Warriors for shooting too many threes and being reliant on the 3 and thinking it's 2016. That one to Wiggins, I didn't have an issue with.
He was 1 for 7.
I know. I have an issue as to whether we could talk about whether he should have even been on the floor at that point. 28 minutes might have been a little bit much for him, but the draw and kick to Wiggins, open for a 3. Yeah, maybe after the fact, take a couple of dribbles, get to the baseline, but I can live with that. I can live with that 3. What I can't live with is when this game's hanging in the balance and you come down early in the clock and Klay Thompson with a man and a hand in his face is trying to go a hand down, man down, and trying to heat check. This is not the place and time, but there's no reprimanding. It doesn't stand out. Kerr doesn't call a quick 20 and say, Kerr, sit down, Klay Thompson. That was ill-advised. No, this is part of who they are, and they need to change that persona because it is not 2016 anymore. You cannot live and die by a 3. You want to hear numbers? Here you go, Chuck. They were 6 of 19 from 3-point territory in the fourth quarter. 6 of 19. But here is the caveat, is that they were in the bonus that entire time.
Mm-hmm.
You get to the rim or you get fouled and you're shooting free throws. You can win this thing from the line. You're in the bonus and you're still relying on jacking one up from Folsom or throwing one up from 25 feet. That's the only reference I know out there near Sacramento.
All right, we went to the text line. We went to the sources because I said I'd have to go back to the highlights just to break down the film and see how open Klay was. And we got all caps. 510 is adamant. Go back and watch the film. Klay had the easy layup.
No, I don't
Klay
know.
had the easy layup, and
we'll
he kicked
look at it
because they love the 3.
I don't think he had an easy. I think that there were guys converging on him, which is why Wiggins was open. He drew a crowd. He made the right play. If Wiggins shoots that,
he could have stopped and popped right there.
If Wiggins tries to shoot that layup with a couple of guys on him and misses, we're sitting here today going, why didn't you kick to Wiggins? Wiggins was wide open. So I think he made the right basketball play. As much as we get on Clay for shooting these ill-advised threes, that last play to Wiggins, to me, was the right call. Wiggins just missed the shot. But whether Wiggins should have been shooting it in the game at that point, we can debate. The issue I have is you're 6 of 19 from three-point territory when you're in the bonus. That, to me, is showing that get to the line. There's another way to do this. And the Golden State Warriors at times look as though they have no interest. So that's a key. I do want to celebrate. Yeah, so the text line's also saying the Warriors cannot start DiVincenzo next game. Yeah, I think the DiVincenzo starting is over with.
How about Peyton?
No, Wiggins will come back into the starting lineup.
I would love to see a lineup, and I know it's tough to do, but a lineup with Wiggins, Peyton, Draymond on the floor at the same time, defensively. I think if the Warriors want to win this series, you don't beat the Kings at their own game. You don't try to beat them 133-131. I know you said otherwise. You said, hey, they want to get into a track meet and a shootout with the Warriors. Good luck. I think you beat the Kings by out-physicaling them because I think you do have the advantage in that regard.
With who? Oh, GP2, but they can't out-physical anybody.
GP2. Wiggins is physical. You're obsessed with size. You're a size matters kind of guy. I'm not. I don't need size matters, baby.
I wouldn't call them a physical basketball team. I call Draymond physical. Now you got GP2, and yeah, you can be a little physical. But Jordan Poole, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson are not physical players.
No, but I think Wiggins plays bigger than he is. And last year when the Warriors were at their best, dominating and carving through the competition like it was a Thanksgiving turkey in the NBA playoffs, Andrew Wiggins was dominant defensively. And I think if you have Wiggins, Draymond, and GP2 in there at the same time, or at least a combo of two of those three on the floor at every time, I think that's your formula. There should never be a lineup thrown out there that it's only one of those three.
DiVincenzo has to come out of the starting lineup. That's not a knock on DiVincenzo.
DiVincenzo's excellent.
He is crucial.
We've sat here and said how good he is. He's a winner. He won titles at Villanova. He won a championship with Milwaukee.
New Dante music.
He's a damn good player. I just think GP2's better.
Yeah, well, I don't know I'd go that far. He's better defensively for this series or GP2 locking up De'Aaron Fox. DiVincenzo still has a significant role. We just don't want to see him the majority of the time. On switches, DiVincenzo's going to have to watch Fox, but you don't want to see him guarding De'Aaron Fox for 20 minutes as he did last night. That's not a winning formula. But I'm with you. GP2 and Wiggins, and Monk comes into that game. GP2 just has to play more. And so when we talk about, one of the callers said that Coach Brown outcoached Steve Kerr. Well, if there are knocks on Steve Kerr is that he sat Steph Curry too long. This is not the regular season. Put Steph up there in 39 to 40 minutes a game, all right?
And he played Jonathan Kuminga too much. I know you hate me saying that.
Sleep in the offseason. But no, Jonathan Kuminga has to play.
You said Gary Payton II needs more minutes than 20. I agree with that. Where are his minutes coming from? It's the 10 minutes that Jonathan Kuminga had.
It's the Andrew Wiggins is not going to play 28.
But he'll play 25.
You need to get...
He may play 28.
Jonathan Kuminga will have an impact in this series. And the only reason he's going to stay on the floor is because he's going to get to the rim and do some good things. If this series is wide open...
He grabbed 0 rebounds, Dan. 0 rebounds.
No rebounds, he's got to come out. He
may not go back in. We've seen what Steve Kerr does. We've seen when someone doesn't produce, they all of a sudden...
That's inexcusable.
They fall down to the bench and you don't see them for a minute.
No,
Do you think Kuminga's coming back for 25 minutes and 15 points in game 2?
Not 25
minutes.
Mark
it down, folks. Call into the station when Dan's anchoring next Saturday, hosting next Sunday, whatever it may be, and say, Dan, I thought Kuminga was going to have a big game.
I'll be on here in the middle of the week at night again. My key card won't work. I'll be knocking on
the
door.
night shows are back? News to me.
No, they are not. Harrison Barnes, by the way, hit a step-back 3 in the fourth quarter. Harrison Barnes, by the way, is the one guy we have not talked about, but Harrison Barnes played well, and that step back was 13. Big. And, there's an asterisk next to this for Harrison Barnes. We all know, former Golden State Warrior, feels as though he was done wrong by Draymond. Draymond apparently ran him out of town, and Harrison Barnes knows it. He said, listen, you want Kevin Durant? You're the one who got on the phone with Kevin Durant. You begged for Kevin Durant. You didn't want me. You got Kevin Durant. Well, guess what?
And I'm homegrown.
And you're not coming to my wedding. We're going to dance with that. I think that's so funny. Everybody went to that wedding. Everybody went to Harrison Barnes' wedding from the Golden State Warriors. I'm talking about, Chiozza, I think, got an invite. Everybody was out there except Draymond Green.
Jacob Evans was there.
They were all... Wow. They're all doing the dance. Except one, Draymond Green. But as Draymond says, hey, man, don't put that on me. But Harrison Barnes, he's got something to prove here. There's definite added incentive.
Yeah, first time in the postseason, 7 years?
In this series, which you're not going to see. While Sacramento can lay claim that, hey, listen, we're the new up-and-coming basketball team. We're the new kids on the block. Get out of the way, old men, Golden State. It's not Memphis. It's us. The difference between this series or Memphis and Sacramento is that, quite frankly, as much as I don't want to say this, they're sort of likable. There is no Ja Morant. There is no Dylan Brooks. There are no punks on this team. De'Aaron Fox, he's a baller and he's a nice dude.
Yeah.
So I say that to say this is that I don't know, and as much as Draymond wants to get in somebody's grill, I don't think you're going to see any of the testing.
No, it's been civil, and so far with the fan bases for the most part. I haven't been doing talk radio 4 hours a day. I'm sure if we polled Bonte Hill, he would say a little different story than we're scripting right here. But from my perspective and what I've seen, and the callers calling in saying, yeah, I'm glad that Sacramento won one, and it's cool seeing them light the beam. We're going to take it in 5 anyways. Like, where's the animosity? Where's the hatred? They just took you down game 1.
Joe's hanging out in San Mateo.
Joseph.
That's where we're going. What's up, Jose?
Hey, guys. A great show. I just turned in a little bit and heard you guys discussing about the game, obviously. So I think, instead of, kind of, I don't know which one of you guys made a comment, says, complain about, kind of Kuminga not grabbing a rebound in only 10 minutes of play. I think the bigger, issue, I just looked at the game again. I watched the game again over breakfast. Gary Payton, his only job was to slow down either Monk or De'Aaron Fox. Did he look like he didn't either last night? So I think that's the biggest adjustment. And Draymond, and also the last point, Draymond and Looney's defense was a bonus, unreal. I mean, that was clinic. Thank you.
You know what, Joe? You are absolutely correct. That's why Draymond is worth what it is that he's asking for. Draymond just said, Sabonis, it ain't happening. Looney, that was absolute textbook. But you're right. It's not about in the paint. It's not about mixing it up with Sabonis. It's about when they want to get you out on an island with Monk and or De'Aaron Fox. Who's going to stay in front of these guys? It's got to be GP2 or Wiggins, and that's it. And they're going to get you on switches. So I saw Klay Thompson, who was like a day and a half late trying to stay with De'Aaron Fox. They're going to get you on switches where you're going to see Steph having to watch, De'Aaron Fox or Monk. I mean, that's just going to happen throughout the course of the game. They want to take advantage of that switch.
With his size, athleticism, and length, though, you would think that Jonathan Kuminga may be a decent candidate to stay with Monk. Maybe?
You just told me he's not going to play in this series.
Waffle. I said he's not going to play in this series if he plays like he did last night.
Yeah,
I thought he was a little out of control personally. And
by the way, before we get to the break,
my takes are relevant.
I
told you.
E40 did get ejected. I don't know if he got ejected as much as I think they let him come back into the game, but they needed him to cool down because he was standing up and people behind him out there in Sacramento said, "Hey, man, sit your butt down." And E40 did not like that. 50 Cent was there on hand. Barry Bonds was on hand. The governor of the great state of California, Gavin Newsom, was there. Not a hair out of place, slick back. I mean, that's probably
we need to take tips.
The most notoriety that Sacramento has had in I don't know how long, since the state fair. Hey, Cam, give me some Sacramento love. Let's hear from the King fans. Come on, man. Let's bob for some apples. Oh, what are we doing Sacramento Day, honey? Well, I heard 7-Eleven's got a Slurpee. Let's go, Sacramento. Haystack Cowboy Farmers. This is your moment. Get up at 5 in the morning and go ahead and milk that bovine. Rototill. Where my overalls, Oshkosh? Go nuts, Sacramento, because no one knows who the hell you are, but you just put yourself back on the map. That was beautiful last night. They were relevant again. Go ahead, Cam. Look at me, man. I'm going to do the dance. Where's that television? They were awesome last night. Congratulations to Sacramento, man. You guys showed up. Lit that beam. That
God,
was
you were
beautiful.
just throwing the most subtle jabs. You're like, Sacramento, that was awesome last night.
No,
Let's Now let's call them a bunch of hillbillies.
No, that was awesome, Sacramento. You guys, that was good for the league. That was you were an ambassador. I'm trying to say ambassadorship. You were ambassadors for the game last night. People tuning around because everything sucked yesterday, right? Everybody was blowing everybody out. The Knicks game was pretty good. They took care of the Cavaliers. But aside from that, Boston blowing out Atlanta. I mean,
they got a hell of a fan base.
That was fun.
And they've stuck with them through the years. Now, what I want to know is how many of the young population
the Waffle
growing
House
up
has to sponsor you, by the way. Sorry.
There's no Waffle Houses in the Bay Area.
That's a great sponsor.
Yeah, it would be.
Because he waffles.
I don't waffle.
Go ahead.
I'm not a waffler. I may have waffled on that one opinion there, but I stick to my guns. You know, I do. But the fans that grew up in, let's say, Vacaville or, some of those places that are right split there, that
Vacaville, which has got an insane asylum and a prison,
that probably should be King's country. You would think, right? Yeah. It's closer to that way.
Sacramento was awesome last night, man. I'm serious. When's the last time that you had the entire crew, ABC network television, ascend? Well, it had to be 17 years ago.
04, yeah.
They were all there in Sacramento. Answer your phone, for crying out loud. We're on the radio. You turn that thing off. Kylan, he'll be back in about an hour. Relax.
Not my phone, folks.
So I just want to reiterate, Sacramento showed up last night. That was impressive.
By the way, you're 55 seconds over. Maybe it's Nahegan calling you. Go to break.
All right, we continue here on 95.7. We're hitting the last hour. Coming up, that guy is going to riff. He's going to freestyle. Yeah, I'm teasing it. I have no idea whether he's going to call us back. We'll also talk about Game 2. What do you think, Golden State Warrior fans? Is it a must-win? And how do you see things going down in Game 2? Do you see De'Aaron Fox rinse and repeating, going for 38? I don't. Malik Monk for 34? You buying this stuff? And are you okay with the Golden State Warriors and the way they played it last night? My man Chuck feels as though there is a high level of it's what is it that it's you're on red alert. You're on red alert is where you're at.
You going to take us to the top of the hour? Or are you going to hit the commercial break?
I'm just going to keep babbling until
who cares? They can't get rid of us.
Just play, Cars for Kids over me. We'll be back after this.
Everyone loves TV Dad.
On the next TV Dad, presented by Progressive, TV Dad gets us through heartache.
Chin up, sport.
Oh, hey, TV Dad.
You know what heals all wounds?
Time?
No, it's remembering the drivers who switch and save.
and press conferences
Yeah.
and the joking and the camaraderie and everyone loving on Mike Brown. And there's no animosity right now. Maybe we saw the beginning to that last night. Not the loss. I'm talking in-game storyline, E40 getting the boot. You see that?
Go ahead, detail it for us. He got removed from the game, standing in front of the fans out there in Sacramento. Of course, E40, if you don't know, big Warrior fan. Not only does he go to the games, but he essentially sits with the team right behind them on the bench.
Yeah, so what we're seeing right now is a quote from E40 that basically said that he was, yelling at something during the game. Someone started chirping at him, giving him some words. He turned around and said, cut that out or whatever. And he thinks, so he basically said, quote, racial bias remains prevalent. Security saw a disagreement between a black man and a white woman and immediately assumed that I was at fault, and they kicked me out. So E40 gets the boot. One of the Warriors' big super fans is out of there. Warriors players saw it. I don't think it factors into the series whatsoever, but I do think that it is, something to mention, the fact that E40 got the boot from last night's game in game one. Yeah, it seems so civil. And E40's getting tough.
Yeah, E40, just come on home, man. Don't even bother hanging out in Sacramento in game 2. We'll take care of you at the Chase. Come back where you're loved. Come back. Get out of the sticks and come back to the city and downtown. But when you talk about the civility between the two teams, again, there is no Dylan Brooks. John Morant can push buttons. All those guys. Darren Jackson is a guy that got under the skin of the Golden State Warriors, and certainly Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson, that was the first thing that Klay Thompson mentioned as he got to the podium after winning the NBA championship. He's like, in Memphis,
you bums.
Calling them bums. I mean, Sacramento is just there could be something there with Malik and Draymond. They seem to be two guys that are cut out of the same cloth, if you will.
It's more so just if a team's beating you. If it goes up to 2-0, one of your biggest fans has already got the boot from the arena for what he's now calling a racial bias, and a local sports talk host is playing John Denver Country Boy every time he talks about the city of Sacramento, the state's capital. That's me. Yes, you're right. Then maybe you got a little something.
Well, maybe you have something against the city, and maybe this just plays into, because the Warriors, remember what happened after all the shenanigans in game 1 in Memphis? Like they took out the Grizzlies. They sort of feed, I know Draymond feeds off of that. Same out there in Boston, the hostility, the FU chants to Draymond Green. They respond to that.
Yeah, this feels a lot more like Dallas last year, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Where it was just kind of like,
But I think that's sort of a struggle. That plays into Sacramento. The Warriors love postseason drama. They seem to get off on that.
Well, there's drama now, and they're probably getting off on it right now because they're down 1-0, and the Kings fans have lit the beam, and they're feeling some type of way right now.
So game 2 is coming up again tomorrow night. It's a quick turnaround before the series heads back to the Bay Area. We've been asking all morning long, where you at as far as where's your level in terms of your nervousness?
Has one person answered that question?
You.
Directly. Aside from me. I don't think anyone's called in and actually said, my level of nervousness on a scale of 1 to 5 is a 2.
All right, well, we'll open it up. Talk to me. 888-957-9570. And just tell me, are you afraid after losing that game 1 that the Sacramento Kings can now win this series?
I think if you say no, you're delusional. I truly believe that.
Anything can happen.
If you're giving me even odds, then I'd have to look at the odds right now to who's going to win this series.
They're the 3 seed.
They were, yes. The Warriors were almost 3-1, minus 290 to win this series, but they were underdogs in last night's game. So according to Vegas's plan, the Kings were supposed to win game 1. The Warriors are supposed to cruise through this series. So nothing has changed in that regard. I just think the Warriors played a really good basketball game and lost. And they did play a good game. That is alarming. They played good and they lost. They were good defensively, so we thought, and they gave up 125, 123.
There's something that, and it's sort of an intangible that
126. I was close.
You looked into Steve Kerr's eyes, and again, watching him in the press conference, not so much what he said, but just sort of reading between the lines. It's just, we had a 10-point lead in the third quarter. We feel pretty good about where we're at. Now, listen, you need more offensive rebounding. The shot selection we have talked about being reliant on threes. The dribble penetration by that of Malik Monk and De'Aaron Fox has to stop now. De'Aaron Fox will get his, but Malik Monk cannot do that to you again. Yeah, there's issues in every loss, but I think overall it was an entertaining basketball game, and I do think that the Golden State Warriors walk away from that thing thinking to themselves, we're actually okay.
Two things that the Warriors have shown they're pretty much incapable of for the majority of the year. One is winning on the road. That's well documented, but it's also getting off to decent starts, right? They're always playing catch up, it seems like, whether they're playing the Spurs or whether they're playing the Thunder, whether it was the Pelicans a few weeks back. Seems like they're always down 11, 14, 20 points, they come back.
Not last night.
No, last night they led.
Yeah.
It was the opposite. So does that scare you at all? The fact that the Warriors had the lead, they started off looking pretty good. The Kings looked a little shaky, like they were, not settled into being in the playoffs. There were some jitters. And the fact that they settled in and the Warriors, I don't want to say unraveled, but they missed shots they should make down the stretch.
What I would say to that is that if you have a lead and you're Steve Kerr and you think, this is a good time to take out Steph Curry, think again. There is not a good time to take Steph Curry out of this series. Let him play 40 minutes, and he'll rest when he's dead, or he'll rest in the offseason.
Take him out at the end of every quarter with 30 seconds to go. Give him that breather heading into the next frame, and use your timeout.
Steph Curry comes out of the game with an 8-point lead. See ya. And the game was pretty much won at that point by Sacramento. That's when they go on their run. Coinky dinky? I don't think so. Will's hanging out in Santa Cruz. Let's grab our boards and go to Santa Cruz. What's up, Will?
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing today?
Good, man. What's going on with you in Santa Cruz? Are you Capitola or are you Santa Cruz?
Nah, I'm Santa Cruz on the west side, man.
West side represent.
Look, why y'all worrying? If I told you guys 2 weeks ago we're going to be in the 6th seed, we're going to lose by 3 points to the number one offense ever, y'all would have taken that. And we lost on the road. Chill. We're going to be good. Steph went, I think, 6 for 14 last night from 3. Clay went 8 for 19. Wiggs lost the game-winning shot when he said it felt good. Nothing to worry about. Slight adjustments, and we're winning.
Thank you, Will. Way to talk Chucky Waffles out of the tree.
I'm laughing at the waffler, Dan Devone, the actual waffler over here. Call me the Hamburglar, but the waffler over here all season. Your narrative has been, this team's done. This team's done. I've been sitting on the other side of the mic saying, relax. They're still the Warriors. You still have to prove that you can dethrone them. When all of a sudden did you get to being, the Warriors are back. They're going to win. When did this happen?
I have no idea what you're talking about right now. I've always been this guy. I go, you know what? I am a guy that right now.
You're a man of conviction. That's what you are.
I will tell you that there's, as it relates to last night, if we were just to focus and hone in on last night in the Golden State Warriors, that might have been one of their best road games, believe it or not, in a long, long time against a very good basketball team that needed to win. They did not result back to the bonehead turnovers, to the ugly play. And I think that Steve Kerr, again, and the rest and Draymond Green as well, just feels as though, listen, Monk, you're not doing that again. I think Sabonis.
But what else? You're putting too much stake into the post-game press conference. It's like when you're covering high schools. I know back in your Fresno days when you're running around local sports. Hey, coach, how's your team going to be this year? You were 1-9 last year. They always sit there and they say, the veteran leadership, I think it's really going to step up and you're going to see a better team. They're not going to come out there and say, you know what? I think this team's just better than us. We played our best and they still kicked our ass.
Well, I think Draymond can be candid at times. I'm not talking
in the postseason.
Well, no, I think he's a guy that, and Steve Kerr, you can read body language. I listen. We all watched the game, and I don't think that while you want to win it, and while there should be a level of nervousness because you lost game one,
we watched the game, and I think it's going to be a competitive series. I think that's the only thing you can take away from that game.
But watching the game, I'm right there with the players. Like we're okay. We played well. We played a good basketball game. And I think that with Wiggins getting healthier and with GP2 getting immersed in this thing, and we'll figure out.
For sure.
Give me even odds.
Give me even odds. We're sprinkling on the Warriors right here. I'm just saying, for those of you out there that are saying this is going to be a cakewalk.
Oh, well, no, I don't hear anybody saying cakewalk. I'm just saying no one's in the trees right now.
I'm seeing Warriors in 5.
The gentleman sweep. Well, that was.
They're going to go on the road and win, 2?
Well, they're going to have to win 1 on the road, at least, if they're going to move on and take care of the Sacramento Kings and face the winner of Memphis and the Los Angeles Lakers.
They'd have to win 2 if they want to take it 4-1 in 5.
Well, forget about who. Listen, this is going to be a long series.
That's what I'm saying.
And this whole
and
idea,
if it's going to be a long series,
that works in the favor of the Warriors.
It does.
Because that means they will have won a road game. And Sacramento has got to. And Sacramento, ironically enough.
Text line. This is no pancake walk. Maybe some waffles.
Ironically enough, is that Sacramento has a better record away from. What's the name of this place?
Golden One.
The Barn?
Golden One.
Golden One. So. They were good last night. And again, I just want to give kudos, shout out to Sacramento. Way to represent, man. You guys you've been in the barn for the last 16 years, but you guys were out and you were doing your thing last night and the whole country saw you, and it was good for basketball.
So when I was doing that venture up to KOVR and I was doing the hour and a half commute, it would usually take realistically about 3 hours to get up there with the Bay Bridge
Thank
traffic.
you.
And then the traffic that you'd hit in Vacaville, 3 hours there, hour and a half back. But it was 2 years ago, and there was a lot of talk about De'Aaron Fox. Hey, maybe the Kings keep Halliburton. He's the future. Fox returns you something good. I legit heard, I'm not naming names, but I legit heard people saying, maybe we package up De'Aaron Fox and try to go get Ben Simmons.
Oh, yeah.
It's a real thing.
The Warriors, there was talk about bringing in Ben Simmons. So, you can't mention names of people out in Sacramento?
I'm just saying there were a lot of folks out there that thought, keep Tyrese Halliburton, get rid of De'Aaron Fox. When they traded Tyrese Halliburton for Sabonis, I think a lot of that fan base said, what are you doing, Monty
initially
McNair?
it was the
worst. What are you doing?
Yeah,
Sell the team.
ridiculous.
What's going on here? And I think it's proved to be a very wise trade.
For both teams.
Yes, De'Aaron Fox has been a gamer since day one. He just needed the pieces around him. And you saw it. And you saying, De'Aaron Fox went off. He's not doing that again. That's who De'Aaron Fox is.
No, I know. He's been good. I don't think he's going to be.
He's been better than good. I know he wasn't an all-star, right?
Well, he is an all-star. He's not a first. He might be like a third-team all-NBA this year.
Well, he's a superstar.
But he is a guy but I don't think he's going, and he's good in the fourth quarter. I don't think he's going to be that good. Rick Boy in Nevada gets us going here on 95.7 The Game. What's up, Rick?
Hey, good morning, guys. Good to be on the channel with you. And just wanted to say that, kudos to Sacramento. Had the home court, had that energy going. But I'd be lying if I didn't say I'm a little jittery after the loss last night. For me, personally, I need to see the Warriors not only win tomorrow night, but show some dominance. And then I'm thinking maybe they get to the next round. But if it's a win, but a difficult win, I'm probably going to fasten my seatbelt. It might be a shorter season than I'd like to plan for. And I got to say, for sure, the home court energy last night for Sacramento really lifted them. So I'm putting a shout out to the East Bay, San Francisco. Hey, we gotta show Sacramento what we're made of, and let's bring it tomorrow night. Thanks, guys.
Well, tomorrow night will be in Sacramento. You can bring it on Wednesday when the series comes back to San Francisco for Game 3. But yeah, I think that Sacramento fed off of that crowd last night. He brought something up. Just got me thinking here. Is this exactly when you see De'Aaron Fox in his speed and you see Malik Monk get to the rim and you see Warriors having a hard time staying in front of these guys, is this just simply because they're old? And that's exactly what people are talking about, is that Father Time has caught up to you guys. There are no young legs on that team, aside from Kuminga and Jordan Poole and Wiggins to a certain degree, but your foundation is, at times, they look creaky. And I'm talking about, when you just think about those young guys, and I'm telling you, Sacramento looks as though they could have played fifth quarter, quite frankly. And the Warriors look gassed.
Yeah, I think we're going to find out a lot. I think anything's on the table here. I'm not a man of conviction. I'm very much a waffler. And I look, Golden State all year, I've said I would not be shocked if this team made the play-in tournament. I would not be shocked if this team won an NBA title. I just don't know. I feel like they've been saving that extra gear for this moment. I'm waiting to see what they do in Game 2 before I have any sort of, here's what's going to happen here. I will say this. I would not be shocked if the Warriors won this series whatsoever. I would not be shocked if the Kings won in 5. Yeah, you heard me. You heard me. Could go either way here. I'm waiting to see another game. You know, you come out here and you say, I know what's going to happen in the series. It's going to be Warriors in 5. It's going to be easy.
Oh, I don't say that. I think that there's a lot of people feel as though the gentleman's sweep. But no, listen.
I think he said it best. Our man from Novato said it best. He's buckling up the seatbelt for a long series.
Oh, yeah.
Because this, I'm looking on the YouTube line, and our guy Ed says this team adjusts well. They will be fine. This team hasn't adjusted all year. Like, I mean, aside from the last 2 weeks when they picked up some steam against some absolute crap competition, this hasn't been a great team all season, especially on the road.
So they're about to either prove or disprove the theory that the regular season don't mean squat.
Exactly.
Because if they move on and they do make a run, what are we supposed to make of 11 wins in the regular
season means nothing. But guess what? If they lose in 5, if they lose in 6, all we're going to say is this is who the Warriors were all year. This is who they were all year on paper. Your record is what, your record is who you are at the end of the day. And Golden State's record all year was, they were, until the last month of the season, last 2 weeks of the season, they were decent.
Conflated Denny Green. They are who we thought they were. And Bill Parcells, you are who your record is.
At this point, I'm throwing everyone together. I love that. I need like a superhero outfit.
I'm telling you, we're going to get you sponsored by the Waffle House.
Okay.
As soon as it comes out to San Francisco.
Let's do it.
Hope to God it doesn't come out to the Bay Area.
There's got to be like an original Waffle House somewhere out here, right?
Every
city has one of those.
That thing turning into the wild, wild west at 2 a.m.
John's Waffle Stacks.
One place you do not want to be is at a Waffle House at 2 a.m, man.
No, you absolutely want to be there.
Well, no, not unless you got a bulletproof vest on. You don't want to go anywhere near that place.
Man, those topped hash browns are delicious.
Mike's hanging out in San Francisco. Hello, Mike. How are you this beautiful morning?
What's up, guys? Yeah, from my perspective, very concerned about this team because we've seen their pattern all year. And last night summed them up on the road. They'll play well enough in times to take a lead, but they can't put their foot neck on the opponent's neck when they have them down. You had a 10-point lead. They had the Kings reeling there, and what do? They fourth quarter comes around. They take terrible shot selection. They allow the opponent to take over, get momentum, and that's what happens. They take the game in the end there, and I see nothing different. As far as flipping a switch, a lot of people are forgetting this team is not any of the former championship Warriors team. This is the worst team version of the previous championship version team. Defensively, they're one of the worst teams in the league. So we can't just rely on, they're going to flip a switch because they can't. Defensively, they're horrendous. And Andrew Wiggins, I think he's got to be the X factor. We're going to need him. I think he's got to be the key to lock down De'Aaron Fox for any chance for the Warriors to win this series because De'Aaron Fox has shown all year he's been the best clutch player in the fourth quarter, and he did it again last night. Sabonis, I think Draymond is probably going to have to take that assignment, hopefully not get in foul trouble because Sabonis is such a load. But overall, guys, I'm very concerned because last night might have been their best shot to win on the road, and if you think the crowd in Golden One is that was just a preview of what's going to happen the rest of the series going forward. So.
Yeah, they let one slip last night. Straight up, they let one slip.
Yeah.
They had it. I mean, that was their game to win.
Well,
it was Golden State's game to win.
Partially, when you're up 10 again, don't take Steph out of the game. Don't take Steph out of the game. And as far as Wiggins guarding De'Aaron Fox, I don't know how good I am with that right now. Maybe when Wiggins gets his sea legs or gets back to where he was, then he can start being Wiggins of a year ago where you're matching up with the best player from the opposing team. But right now, I'm more comfortable with GP2 and that lower center of gravity and just, getting right in the midsection of De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox is still going to cook him, but he ain't going for 38, despite what it is that you think.
415, text of the day. When Chuck plays roulette, does he put his chips on both black and red? Yeah, last night I actually, I took Warriors +1 and Kings money line. That's what I do. I can't lose.
Chucky Waffle.
Devone, I win every single day. I'm a winner.
Doug's hanging out in San Francisco.
Doug's a winner.
What's going on, Doug?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Winner, maybe. It depends on the day, but you guys are doing a great job. Enjoying listening. So, all these people calling in, sounding the alarm, don't tune in. Don't call yourself a fan. It's one game. No one's worried. They'll make adjustments. More GP2 minutes, less Dante minutes. Wiggins gets his feet under. He shoots better game 2. We're down 1-0 in a road game that may have well been a Game 7 championship series with Energy in Sacramento. Why is everyone so worried? We'll be fine. There's nothing to worry about here. Thanks for taking my call.
See, Chucky Waffle, listen to Doug and our friend out in Santa Cruz.
I just told you, relax. Give me even. I don't even need positive odds. I said, give me even odds, and I am taking the Warriors in this series. I'm just saying it's no cakewalk.
Chill. We'll be fine.
You hear what that guy called me? He called me Chucky Chill.
Chucky
Chill. He said, my man, Chucky Chill.
Well, listen, I get what you're saying. I think that...
I just think the Kings have been a really good team all season, and Golden State's...
4 games better than that of the Warriors. So, a 3 seed, but let's just keep things in check. 4 games better than the Golden State Warriors as far as the win total. 48-44. 4 games is 4 games. The reason why you need...
24-8 is Golden State, by the way, in playoff games after a loss. So, odds say that they have a 75% chance of winning game 2.
The thing about the loss is that there are losses and then there are ugly losses. And the Warriors can take a lot away from that. And obviously, the offensive rebounding, the ill-advised threes, and the fact they can't stay in front of De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk has to be fixed and addressed. But aside from that, and that's a big, it's a big if, a big aside, but there's a lot more, I think, positives that you take away from a road loss and the way they played in that game, which was nip and tuck throughout. Despite the 10-point lead, that thing hung in the balance. And I think the Warriors feel pretty good about things because had they got blown out and had they got smoked, or had they just been ugly, as we have seen throughout the season when it comes to road losses, I think there would be a higher level of fear, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, maybe so. Last year in the playoffs, I go back to the Memphis series. When they were losing games, they were losing by 40 to Memphis in that series. They haven't had the... why do you have that smirk on your face?
Oh, because you want to know why? Guess who's on the line? Robin, you got to hang out through the break. Robin, you got to just hang out through the break. Sorry, we're up against it. But Robin, I'm going to say it for you before we even take Robin. She misses us, and she misses me, and she misses Chuck. There you go, Robin. I don't even know. Do we need to take the call? Because I know it's going to be nothing but love.
I'm just asking you, Dan. Has Golden State been great at finishing games this year?
No.
Have they?
No.
So the fact that they had a chance to finish that game and you felt like they should have closed that game and didn't, I feel like that's more alarming than if they went out there and just shot terribly and lost by 17 points.
I can't argue with that. Robin's up next. We continue with Chuck and Dan on 95.7 The Game.
So what are you reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores.
the Golden State Warriors find themselves down a game to the Kings in the best of 7. Coming into this series, of course, the Kings coming in as the number 3 seed, and the Golden State Warriors in this bizarro world are the 6th seed. Huh? How did this ever happen? All right. Robin, San Francisco, the location. Go.
Hi, you guys. Hey, Dan, and Charlie, I do miss you because the network is killing me. I swear, I was like, where's Dan in there? What? This is, ugh. Man, I can't stand that Fox Network radio. So it's really good to hear your voice. And listen, I just got in the car. I'm looking for the highway patrol, so I'm rushing here. So I don't know all that, what has been said, but I would like to say that, I'm not really that worried, but there are some things that concern me that I like to point out to you guys, maybe you can elaborate on. So, I consider the first game of any series kind of always the fill-out game, okay? But there are a couple of things that bother me. First of all, the poor shot selection. Wiggins, 1 for 7, but in particular Clay. Clay took some horrific shots, and they just need to better shot selections. And also, I don't understand why they don't attack the rim, because they can really exploit the interior of Sacramento. That is their weakness, one of their weaknesses. And so say what you want about Jordan Poole, but Jordan Poole was the only one attacking the rim, and maybe Wiggins. Also want to know how Sabonis gets away for setting that high screen, always. That was killing the Warriors. And also, they got killed on the glass, rebounding. I think, and hear me out, this is just a theory, because they're undersized, I think last year what really helped them win the championship was offensive rebounding, loomed off, but he had help. And I think that Mike Brown knows this. So he had them really prepared on the boards to beat them, and that's how they won. Well, they won for many reasons, but that's a big reason why they won on the offensive glass. And the Warriors are going to have to do better. They're going to have to be patient, run their offense, okay, and attack the interior, and they can get this job done. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Robin. Always good to hear from our good friend Robin.
Yeah, and it's good.
Makes a lot of good sense.
It's good to be back on the airways with you. It's been about a month, and she says she's tired of the Fox Sports National. Sometimes I get tired of getting into the car and hearing them talk about Clemson football at 7 o'clock on a Thursday. So it's good to be back with you, Devone. I agree with everything Robin said. I've been saying that this entire show.
Yeah, she made some good points that the Warriors do need to get to the rim. But when she's talking about offensive rebounds, she's right. You got Kevon Looney, and think about a year ago. It was Kevon Looney who went nuts. Remember
and Wiggins.
Him? Wiggins is always a good rebounder.
Wiggins was a great. He was grabbing 15, 17 boards.
Yeah, he was amazing last year. But just who's the name you're leaving out though? When you think about a year ago, for a team that was so small and winning another NBA title, I'll give it to you. It's Otto Porter. Otto Porter was such a good rebounder.
Yeah.
You lose Otto Porter, and who'd you fill him with? Nobody. So you have essentially the same team, just down one rebounder. Dante's a good offensive rebounder for a guard, but that's not what I'm alluding to here. You thought it would be JaMychal Green, but he hasn't been that guy. He was supposed to be Otto Porter 2023 version, and it hasn't worked out. So the way I look at it, it's the same front line, except you're down a rebounder, and that's Otto Porter because he's gone, and you can't afford to lose anybody. So she's spot on. Like, you can do it with a small team, but you're going to need Wiggins, and not that all roads go back to Jonathan Kuminga hate, because I'm a big Jonathan Kuminga guy, but you cannot, young fella, get into a basketball game and walk away with the middle of a donut and no rebounds.
No, I've told you multiple times on this show, Dan, that I think Jonathan Kuminga is the future. I think Jonathan Kuminga is the future, but as of right now, he's feast or famine. He's feast or famine, dude. You play him 20 minutes, he's excellent. You play him 8 minutes, he's not. It's as simple as that. Pick one, Steve.
Yeah, I'll say it again. This series plays to his strength. If they want to get up and down and you need an athlete. And if they're going to jump you and get out and pressure you, extend the defense, well, I need someone who can get to the rim. Well, who can do that? It's Wiggins, and it's also this guy, by the name of Jonathan Kuminga. While he's not going to be the deciding factor, he is going to have an impact in this series. That I feel very. Oh, we're betting on this, right?
We've already got the gentleman's bet.
There's
yes.
no such thing as a gentleman's bet. That's like kissing your sister. I get nothing out of that. I need something, all right? Give me something. What are we betting on here? 12-pack? And then, you know what? You ever see Skip Bayless and his show with Sharp, and they bet on something, and they're like, well, let's not do alcohol because, I'll bet you. They bet like Mountain Dew. Screw that. I want alcohol. Give me a 12-pack. I want a Corona. I want to bet. I don't do gentleman's bet.
All right, how about we bet a King Cobra?
In a brown bag?
Yep.
And what, I'm unemployed and living on the streets on 4th and Market?
You're already unemployed. This is your first show in like 2 months.
I don't want a King Cobra. Jeez, King Cobra. Actually, King Cobra would be solid. Let's do that at King Cobra. I like that.
It's a good bet.
It is a good bet. All right, but you got to bring the brown bag.
Okay.
All right. And what's the bet? I forgot. I'm just thinking about the King Cobra.
Jonathan Kuminga, you're saying over 20 minutes, over 15 points.
Whoa,
20. You said he's going to go
20,
off.
20 minutes.
You said he's going to go off. What does going off entail?
No, but the 20, okay, so the over, okay, yeah, so we just lay down a bet with no.
All right, over under 13.5 points. I got the under, you got the over. This entire series.
Awesome. You mean accumulated?
No, I'm just
Aggregate?
saying he's got to score more than 13.5 in one of the games this series. You're going with the over. I'm going with the under. I think he could. I think he could. I just don't think Steve Kerr is going to play him enough to do so.
By the way, Dan, you need to do the WrestleBet haircut match. Yes, good WWE reference. Thank you very much. WWE, by the way, a powerhouse. I left that place too soon as they just joined forces now with WME. That's William Morris. My goodness, they're going to own the world. We're all going to be working for that lunatic, Mr. McMahon. All right. Game 2. We're in our closing moments here. The Golden State Warriors now down 1-0. You got the red meter. You feel as though that this is a bad place to be. You're nervous. You're pacing the hallways. Kylan's saying, come back to bed, honey. You're like, no. Let me go walk the dogs for the 15th time tonight. You're nervous, man. I get it.
Oh.
I'm just
Can I
telling
give you a dog story quick?
I'm trying to bring us back here and focus as we close out the show. All I need is Matt Nahagan saying, hey, it's the playoffs. You guys need to focus. But go ahead. Give me your dog story.
All right. My dog ate a squeaker. He had to have emergency surgery. Let's just...
No.
We'll get back to the Warriors. Yeah.
Wow, that's like a
Where
sign.
are the biodegradable squeakers? In this area, can we get some investment teams on some biodegradable toys?
So
that's an expensive...
So let me just walk you through. Whoa. Let's just back this up. So you guys are looking around going... Where's your little squeeze toy? Where's the toy? What the hell happened? It was just here. And then all of a sudden he burps and is like, what? Like, holy crap! It's in his bowels. Oh my goodness!
Yeah. So it's a tough week at the household. So I may have been pacing around due to that.
Did they have to open him up?
But it has nothing to do because I think the Warriors are going to win Game 2.
What did they do? Did they stick an instrument down his throat? How did they? Oh, he pooped it out. Well,
he didn't. That's why he went to the hospital. He couldn't poop it out.
Ah, all right.
Yeah.
All right. He's okay though, right?
He's
It's
good.
a happy ending.
He's good. No squeaker inside him anymore. No more toys for Mr. Benny. He's good to go, and I think the Warriors are good to go. Nice segue there, Chuck. Pat on the back. They win Game 2.
By the way,
if they lose
that's a good
Game
segue
2,
to Dog Trainer. If you want to call us in at any point, this would be a good time for you to call Dog Trainer. Actually, call in about 5 minutes, and we'll let you blow for 10 minutes, and then Chuck and I will be in the car going home. Go ahead. What do you got? Game 2.
Game 2, I think the Warriors win it.
They're all coming back, and we're leaving. Jimmy, you got a Leg Curry jacket. Thank you very much. Been waiting for you all day. We're jacking things once again. Go ahead. What do we got? Let's just, as we close it out, what's got to happen in Game 2?
I think if the Warriors come out and beat the Kings in Game 2, then I'm back on board. It's the Warriors series to win. I think if they go down 2-0, I think it's over.
Is this shtick now? I'm back on board. Waffles.
It's not waffles. It's called reacting to real time. Whereas some people they're looking at the past. The Warriors they won it last year and they were down 1-0 to the Celtics. They'll be fine. I'm reacting real time. From what I saw yesterday, that is the Warriors played a good game and they blew it down the stretch like they've done a lot of this year. And I'm reacting to that. And if they lose Game 2 and the Kings, they say a series doesn't start until a road team loses, yeah, sure, I agree with that. Warriors could come back, win both at Chase.
Home team loses.
That's what I meant. Yes, obviously. But Warriors could come back to Chase, win it. 0-2 is going to be tough. I think they don't go 0-2. I think it's 1-1. If not, then the panic button, wherever it is, we'll tap it.
Here's why I think you can take away some positives from last night, despite the loss, which you never want to do to start a series. But much like that against Boston in the NBA Finals, going back to last season, where Derek White was hitting threes and Horford was hitting threes, do you expect Malik Monk to come off the bench and give you 34? Do you expect that man Lyles to give you 16 crucial points off the bench? I'll answer that for you. It ain't happening.
No, but I expect Kevin Huerter to make a 3 and not go 3 at 12.
And you see Sabonis scoring more than 12 points.
I see Sabonis making some layups that he missed, and I see Keegan Murray not going 1 for 5. I think he's a pretty good player. And, yeah.
I mean, here's the other thing you can take away positives from what happened last night is that the Warriors looked good in that loss to Sacramento, if there is such a thing.
I think the biggest positive is the fact that Malik Monk scored 32 points. That's a massive. That's not happening again. With all due respect, Malik's a good player. He's not putting up 32 again in the series. You're saying, oh, De'Aaron Fox, he's not going to go out. He's not popping
De'Aaron
off
Fox
like that.
Is great.
De'Aaron Fox is going to do that every night. Maybe not 38, but he's going to score 25 plus every game in the series.
Well, that's what I said. He's going to score 25. He's not going for 38.
I just told you, he'll score 32 on Monday.
He went from 25 to 32. My goodness. The waffles are all over. I just got hit in the head with the waffle. They're flying around the studio out of control.
Said 25 plus. Then I gave you a specific number. What do you want here? He's scoring 32.
All right, 32. I don't see. He's not scoring 32 points.
Okay.
He's a hell of a player, but he's not going to be. He's not going to be as significant of a player. Listen, they may lose, but it's not because De'Aaron Fox is going to do what it is that he did. He was very good, and he's been good, you're right, all year long. If you haven't watched De'Aaron Fox, the reason why you got to love this guy is that he's not scoring his points in the first 3 quarters. This is a guy like any of the greats, and I'm talking Hall of Fame-esque, is that they drive you home. They see the finish line, and they do it when it matters. They're Reggie Jackson in October, and he's one of those guys. And so he's legit. I give you that. I just don't see this playing out with him hitting threes the way he did. That's just not going to happen, I think. And I'm willing to make that bet. But I do think that the Golden State Warriors, well, listen, anything can happen. But I do feel as though that there are some things that you can take away from the loss, that the Golden State Warriors played well, and there's just an eerie sense of confidence. Should it be there? Is that fool's gold? Hell, I don't know. But I can tell you right now that it's a real thing that Steve Kerr and company right now are not afraid of the Kings.
It goes back to what we've been saying all year in this chair, Dan, and that is it's king of the hill. Until you push the Kings off the hill, they're still the Kings. And I'm not talking about Sacramento. I'm talking about the Golden State Warriors. Until you push the champs, until you pull them out of their throne physically, take them out of their throne, rip them off, they're still on the throne. And until someone proves to me that they could take 2 in a row against Golden State, because who's taken 2 in a row against Golden State? Hasn't happened in years in the postseason. Until someone proves to me that they can do that, I'm taking Golden State in the series, and we're going to find out on Monday if someone can take 2 in a row against Golden State.
So the Golden State Warriors meet the Sacramento Kings. We talk about adjustments. I think it's pretty clear. Listen, no 2 games always have the same personality. So when people say, oh, you got to do this in order to win, it's doubtful that De'Aaron Fox will be that guy and or Malik Monk will be that guy. Each game takes on its own persona. But I do think that there will be a conversation, a film study or 2 about Malik Monk. I think there's going to be adjustments from Steve Kerr.
Quit fouling.
I think that, Malik Monk, 14 of 14 from the stripe. That ain't happening again.
No.
But here, one of the earlier callers talked about how Mike Brown outcoached Steve Kerr. I don't know if I necessarily want to go there, but I do think that Steve Kerr has got to recognize this is not a time to take Steph Curry out of a game. And playing him 40 minutes, while it may sound over the top, there ain't no tomorrow, man. Sleep when you're dead, Steph. Sleep during the offseason.
Those fans,
and
though.
And the same holds true for GP2. Being judicious, when do I put him in? No. If De'Aaron Fox is in the game, so is GP2.
Those fans that are saying Mike Brown has the edge because he knows the Warriors so well, knows their personnel, knows what they're going to down the stretch, what does that mean? Does that have any effect on this series to you?
No.
I don't think so.
Players
either.
win games.
I agree.
This whole idea that, listen.
He knows their strategies.
I was in the locker room. Yeah, what is strategy?
What strategy? Guarding Wiggins with 8 seconds left. He could have, Could have put his finger in his mouth, check the air. Oh, it's moving northwest.
Doesn't mean
line
a
that
thing.
thing up. He just missed it. Warriors let it slip straight up. They should have won game 1. They lost it. Now they have to win game 2.
I do think that some of the criticism headed that we're putting and bestowing on one Klay Thompson is you shoot your threes, but just don't be multi-dimensional. Do not be just simply, because he reverts back to this where he's just a 3 guy. And you cannot win that way. You cannot be that reliant. And he was so good when I felt he was at his very best is when he's 2019 Klay and getting to the rack. And he can finish, or the mid-range. Again, you puncture this defense because they overextend, and you can get to the rim and or you can get fouled. 6 of 19 from 3. When you are in the bonus, I'm going to repeat that, 6 of 19 from 3. When you're in the bonus, you should not be shooting beyond the arc when you're in the bonus. All right?
Gotcha. Thank you for being so avuncular today.
Oh, that's a very good word. That's my word.
Yeah, I wonder where I heard it.
All right. Oh!
He's calling. It's that guy, isn't it?
See?
Get the snare.
This is loyal.
Get the snare.
This is loyalty,
Oh, what a guy.
The man came back to take us out. Oh, I feel so warm inside that the troop is all together.
The material was gone, and that guy said, let me help you out. Hold my Cobra.
It's Chuck, it's Dan, and it's our boys and our women are all back. It's a cult. We're all together. Without further ado, that guy will freestyle. Really quick, that guy, first of all, welcome back. What's up, bro? And we're going to get you.
What beat do you want?
Cam, yeah, get him a beat.
Give me a funky bass line on this one, y'all, because I came up with it in a hurry. Don't worry. Just like Curry, my vision ain't blurry.
Okay, hold on. Oh, no. We need a beat.
This will work.
Yeah, I need a funky bass line.
You got a bass for him? Just like a beat.
Making Cam work hard back there.
All right. Well, maybe we'll just go.
He could go a cappella.
Yeah. I mean, should we do?
Okay, look, you don't have anything for me. How about some E40 water?
You got E40 water? Give us 1 second there. And hang, I know somebody's calling in. Give us 1 second. We'll get to your calls coming up in just a bit.
Appreciate it.
Cam, let's just let her rip.
There we go.
Nothing.
That guy.
Ready? Okay. Let's see. Turn me up in the headphones. And Chuck, where's my snare, brother?
Snare's on,
baby. Here we go. It's been a long time. Welcome back. It's been a long time. Welcome back. Since we was hanging out with my man Chuck Chill Out. The block was hot. And when Dan was on the microphone, you had to leave it alone. So here we go. Sacramento. You can't tell E40 when he go because he's from the Bay, where they get the lingos from. Steph, Clay, and Dre is the name, and they still running the game. Stack, you can be the Kings, but the ace is back. The big 3 is still running the game. They ain't fell off. And nowadays, everybody want to talk that they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move the lips. Just a bunch of gibberish, and suckers act like they forgot about Golden State. I got one more flow. You better listen up closely, because Steph ain't getting no sleep. Please, who do you think taught you the ODs? Who do you think taught you to shoot threes? Now everybody want to say that the Dells fell off. Hey, Mike Brown, making the playoffs was nice, but you're still the Kings, and we are the aces back. Sorry, Mike Brown, but game 2, we ain't messing around. I'm out, y'all. Appreciate it.
That guy, ladies and gentlemen.
He brought about 3 different raps together on some of those
awesome.
verses. I was like, I've heard this before, and then he would bring in his own little twist. That's
when
good
is the
stuff.
show over? When are we out here?
I have no idea. I haven't done a Sunday show.
Cam, when are we out? Are we out in like the next 30 seconds or a minute here? Oh, no, we're taking it up to, we got 2 more minutes. So, Cam, just so that we're an equal opportunity employer, right? We just heard from that guy, free-flowing, all right, about the Golden State Warriors. Let's just hear from the Sacramento Kings, and let's get their anthem going, because it's only fair that Sacramento gets represented as well.
Hey, get the griddles going, baby.
Sacramento's
Waffles up in Sacramento.
It ain't a rap, but Sacramento, man. Let me hear from you guys. All right, Cam, thank you so much, man. We may go out with that. By the way, just to shout out to the San Francisco 49ers on their website, apparently, or did they tweet this out, Cam? I think they tweeted this out. They said, good luck to both teams.
They got fans in Sacramento.
I know, man, but don't drive the middle of the road, man. Don't do that. Either leave it alone or pick a lane.
Leave it alone.
Yeah, leave it alone.
You leave it alone in that situation.
Come on, man. We don't do that. 49ers, you should know better than that. Good luck to both teams.
Shame on you.
All right, that'll do it. Game 2, of course, is slated for tomorrow. You catch all your action beginning tomorrow morning with Bonte and Shasky. We keep you in tune. We are on 95.7 The Game with all the Warrior knowledge, everything that's going on in Bay Area sports. It'll take you right up until pregame with JD and company, and then we hand things off to the voice, the golden pipes of the Golden State Warriors. That would be one Tim Roy.
Let's do it again.
My man Chuck and I will be back, hopefully, to talk more about the Golden State Warriors.
And if not, we love you all.
Yes. Oh, wow. We're going out with some sugar? All right. I guess we love you.
All right, ghouls.
Not really. Peace.
Are you interested in volunteering for a domestic violence program? Volunteer opportunities with A Safe Place includes assisting with their 24-hour crisis line, community outreach, special events, and more. Domestic violence volunteer training classes will take place summer 2023. To